Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
Buzz buzz babies, what's up? What is today? It's Wednesday. Awesome. My face is already lagging from the audio. I'm having some weird technical issues lately, folks, and it's aggravating. And I apologize, and hopefully it fixes itself. And hey, there we go. Gotta love fucking technology. All right, I have a very cool guest tonight, but before we do that, I want to talk about today's unofficial sponsor of the show. If any of you guys watch Blake and Cole Read a Book, we went a little brand heavy last night, trying to basically just trying to sell out as best as we can. So the unofficial sponsor of tonight's show is Maker's Mark. It's so delicious, and you know what it tastes like? It tastes like regret never happened. It tastes like regret never happened. It's just so delicious. Anyway, hey, what's up, Cole? I see you. I was hoping you would tune in, but before I get to the audience, I should get to my guest. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very talented comic book creator here, and I am so excited to talk about his process, how he's just doing so much and so many cool things. He's the man behind the madness of Wolven Press. Mr. Evan Carothers is here. Evan, how you doing, bud? How's it going?
I gotta tell you, Blake, I'm feeling betrayed because right before this thing started, I was like, God, I think I should get a whiskey. But he's like, oh, we could wait. I'm like, no, I'm chill. And then he pulls out the Maker's Mark and flaunts it in front of my face. Had I known, I would have got on the bandwagon.
Hey man, I could bullshit for a couple minutes if you want to go get a drink. I'm for real. Like you do whatever.
No, we're
you
good.
Need to do.
We're riding. I'll text my wife if I absolutely get desperate.
Nice. That's a good woman. If she will bring her comic making husband a drink while he deals with my bullshit. That's a keeper. We already got some people in the chat. What's up, Ronan coming from Australia? What's up, Buzz? Yeah, no green screen, but even without the green screen, it started off kind of weird. I'm getting scared. Like everything I have is breaking. I don't know. I got new lights and a new camera and a new dock, and everything was like good for 5 minutes. At least I look good. I look good, right? That's all that matters. Yeah, Maker's Mark. We're trying to get that sponsor, baby. And then Ford EcoBoost. None of this is going to make sense unless you guys watched Blake and Cole Read a Book last night, but it was a great show, and you guys should watch that. Yeah, everybody hashtag Maker's Marks. What's up, Tom? Good to see you, bud. That's what I told him, man.
Wife's already on it. Don't worry.
Nice. Well, hey man, I am so excited to have you on the show. We got that pesky Eric Palicki out of the way. It's just me and you. We get to make the magic happen. I don't know if you guys saw last time when Talks 1 and 2 was live on Kickstarter. Evan and his co-writer Eric were on here. We had a great time. I love Eric Palicki. I was just kidding. He's an awesome guy. But yeah. There are other comics that Evan is involved with other than Talks, even though everybody loves Talks, and I love that too, because people were so like starting to see pictures of people posting them, getting in the mail. Like, man, you guys crushed that campaign. You crushed fulfillment. The books look good. Like that's got to feel great. What's up, K-pop? Thanks for tuning in. There we go. Now the party's started. Cheers, sir. Cheers
now
to you and your
comics
in your wonderful comic making career. But man, so ladies and gentlemen, this guy does things a little bit differently than a lot of people do.
Do I?
Well, I mean, it seems that you have a lot of projects going, and you're paying out of pocket for a lot of this stuff before it goes to Kickstarter, or maybe pitching it to publishers and stuff. And
sure,
that a lot of people pay some stuff out of pocket, right? But there are some Kickstarter issues where, like, people will just have a few pages done, right? And then they raise the campaign to raise money. But I think it's so cool that, and you can kind of see it too in your narratives. Like, you're hungry for it, you're passionate for it, you're willing to take that risk to make it right, and just make these comic book dreams come true, chase these storytelling endeavors, right? And I see that in your narratives. There, that passion just rings out. They feel special. There's like, even though they're kind of like dark and violent, there's love. There's a
There's
lot
some
of
of that
love
for
there.
sure. There's a lot of love, man.
But like, what's I mean, I know a lot of some stuff we can't talk about, right? But I mean, you've got several projects going.
Yeah.
Ignis Quadrant. You've already announced that you're working on more of that, and we've seen some teaser art on like your social medias. And then Tox 3 and 4 is about to drop. Let me put that link in the chat for everybody. That is the link to the sign up for the Kickstarter. Everybody should go sign up for that. If you missed the first campaign, you'll be able to get all four issues in this one. So make sure you guys check that out. But like, what sparked this, man? Because you have like a gaming company, you do a lot of board game stuff too, and now you have all these comic projects going, like getting ready to roll out. Like, where did that passion
Yeah.
come from?
I mean, the line between tabletop gaming and any other types of nerddom, is the veil is very thin, right?
Yeah.
I do. You mentioned I do like kind of prepay to get a lot of these projects done, and that's true. They're financed. It's all one company, right? My side business is tabletop gaming, accessories, and products, 3D printable stuff for like miniatures and wargaming dioramas and terrain. I've made like neoprene mats, card decks, anything you could think of that'd be something fun and nerd would want. I've dabbled in it, and that's just me chasing my own passions more than anything and finding a way to monetize it. But comics was a very short step from some of the stuff I'd already been doing for a long time. Working with lots of artists over the years in terms of concept art, art for books, whether that be covers or trading cards, anything like that. So I had a good understanding and relationship with how freelance art world worked before diving into comics. And I did a lot of writing over the years for my own tabletop gaming stuff. I've been a dungeon master for a long time and creating different tabletop gaming supplements. So, storytelling is storytelling, right? The lens by which you craft it for a certain medium, it takes experience and practice. But if you know how to tell a story and you're interested in it, it can be applied to a lot of different vectors. So
Yeah,
that was how I got into comics for sure.
well, that's cool. So you're just a big fucking nerd. I like like, I like that.
Oh, big time.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I looked when I was when I was trying to find a picture of you to make the graphic for tonight. I stumbled across your tabletop gaming Instagram and stuff, and like saw all the miniatures and all the crazy thing. Like, it looked really cool. I want to play tabletop RPGs so bad. I really, really want to try it. I've never got to play D&D. It's something that, like, especially ever since like Stranger Things. I even bought the Stranger Things like D&D for Dummies set that came out. But yeah, I can't ever, there's that meme that's like, everybody thinks they have friends until you try and play D&D, and like, it's totally true. I can't get anybody into it. My sister's ex, like, that has like scarred her kind of emotionally, like used to drag her to D&D games with like his shitty friends, and so like she likes board games, but when like we start talking about that, she's like, nope, never doing that again. And I'm like, what if it was like a good group, like if a good group of people, because like, but anyways, it's something I really want to try, and hopefully one day I can get it figured out.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Tabletop gaming is one of those things where it's like, I say tabletop gaming is a broad category, right? So role-playing games is a category of tabletop gaming. And then Dungeons and Dragons is a type of role-playing game, but it's one of many. I mean, there's a lot of fantasy-based role-playing games other than Dungeons and Dragons, include like Pathfinder is the most well-known, and they have like a big game and movie coming out and all kinds of stuff there. But there's all kinds of other systems that are totally different. There's like James Bond espionage type role-playing games. There's sci-fi ones. There's any genre you can think of, some of which use similar rule sets as like D&D, others that have totally different rule sets. D&D has just been the one that's kind of got the zeitgeist of popularity recently and is the one everyone knows about. But I mean, you could think of D&D as like, you know, as like Marvel maybe, and then you have all these other independent publishers that still have great shit, but people
Mm,
don't always know about it. So there's so many interesting ways you can get into gaming, and that's one of the things I've always wanted to do is marry gaming and comics. The Ignis Quadrant was spun out of my previous tabletop gaming products that were designed for use in the sci-fi worlds. And I'm working on a board game in that category, a card game as well. And then I've always wanted to bring comics into it. So one of the things I'm doing for the board game is that it's got miniatures and or 2D standees and tiles to build like this three-dimensional tabletop game you can play with like bounty hunters fighting to get into this situation. But it's set up in 3 or 4 chapters. And when you move to a chapter, you're doing it with other people, but the chapter intros are 15-page comic stories. So you take a
nice.
moment out, you read the comic, in advance or share it around the table or whatever. And it's kind of just like instead of reading just a bunch of text or whatever, I'm like, why the hell not tell the story in a comic to try to appeal to people that like comics, but also, bring a whole different medium into gaming.
Dude,
So
that's
trying to
so
come up with
cool.
some ideas like that.
Mr. Tom Levine commented about the art of Tox and said the art kicks ass, and it really does. And that's one thing I've noticed about Evan's books is this motherfucker has a great eye for art, and he kind of answered the question already that I was going to bring up of how that happened. Was he's working with all these artists to produce these tabletop games and concept artists, and that's kind of how he's maybe made some contacts in the art world. But yeah, man, I mean, from a lot of indie creators that like go the crowdfunding route, not all of
Mhm.
them, but they're a good handful. Like, your comics feel a lot more polished than a lot of what I see in a lot of crowdfunding endeavors. Like, the lettering is really strong. I like your writing, and when you bring on a co-writer is great too, right? Like, you and Eric did some cool
For
stuff with
sure.
Cox. And I noticed reading Mixology Noir that Eric was the editor on that, which was cool.
Yeah.
And because
Yeah.
that was a crazy book, by the way, and a beautiful book too, which we'll get to. But yeah, your books are just, they're very well done, like graphically pleasing. They're put together nice, nice paper, nice cover stock, especially Mixology Noir, the way you ladies and gentlemen, like, and I think, or do you have those for sale on your shop? Like, if people want to buy them?
Yeah, I think I put up the physical ones. I know at least the digital ones are. I thought I put up physical.
Because the physical ones are cool. It's like 2 1-shots, and each is a cocktail. And you flip the book over, right, to
Yeah.
read one on the other,
Yeah.
and like there's foil and there's stamping on like each side of the cover. There's very, very, very beautiful books. And the insides are kind of beautiful and terrifying. We got people in the chat talking about commenting about the Star Wars RPG, which we that's been talked about. Jason Copeland, when he was on, he and like Bob France and Kevin Cuff and some of their people, like they play the Star Wars tabletop game remotely, and he's like a DM for that, and he was kind of talking about it. And again, like, people keep talking to me about it, and it all sounds so cool. And even during like when quarantine was like heavy, right? And like I even had a couple
Hmm.
friends that were like, using StreamYard or Zoom to play D&D with
Right.
their friends, and like, I wasn't ever cool enough. It's like fucking D&D is like fucking basketball in grade school. Like, I was the fat kid who got picked
Yeah.
last. Like, I didn't even get picked at all. But like, people were talking about it, and it sounds really cool. Like, I've almost bought Gloomhaven like so many times, especially when like
Gloomhaven's
Amazon
fun.
has it for a little cheaper.
Yeah.
I've heard cool things about that. But
Yeah.
again, like, it's like I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna look at all the cool pieces and read the rules and be like, man, this would be neat to play if I could ever get anybody in. My friends just aren't
So
like that.
there's a game called Frostgrave, which has a couple of other spin-offs too. It's a more of a skirmish game where you have armies and scenarios, but there's mechanics to it where like the enemies will move based on different things, and
Okay,
there's a single player mode of that. So a lot of people have really good things to say about that. I've only ever played
nice.
it in groups, but there's a lot of other games I've seen recently coming out with a focus on one player mechanics too, just for that case, not just because you can't get invited to something else, but some people just like to sit down, and play something by yourself for a while. And that
Yeah.
was one of the things I love the most about about D&D, not just D&D, but any RPG like that, was I got obviously into the minis and the scenery a lot, and I have 8 3D printers in my basement from my side business,
What?
and oh
That's
yeah,
dope.
well, it's crazy, but I loved just sitting and painting miniatures, right? Whether
Hmm.
I'm listening to a podcast or working or whatever, just the act of painting miniatures became very therapeutic, and it's also pretty cool just to have all these fun little painted things that you can use if you're, using minis for games and stuff too. So you can dabble as if you want into, like I said, Frostgrave as an example, or just get a couple miniatures if you love fun little physical things like that too. But
Nice.
there's all kinds of options.
My favorite single player game is my Love Life. I've been playing that alone for a while, so I guess it wouldn't
Oh
be
man.
a hop skitch and a hop skip and a jump to transition that into a lone a lone tabletop RPG experience.
That's
No,
good.
it's but I do think it's really cool, and one day I'll scratch that itch. Like you motherfuckers, I'll find somebody to play with me. I swear.
I mean,
Or
there's no lack of resources for local Facebook groups or online websites that people like just in your area looking for people to join. Like you don't
yeah,
have to have, it doesn't have to be people you already know. There's tons of, and I've done these, or even like a con you can go to. Like there's a lot of local cons where you go and there's a couple days of random tables you sign up for free, and you just go play a game with a guy who's ready to,
yeah.
or a DM who's ready to rock it for you. So that's a good way to dip your toe into it and try out a couple different systems and just kind of see what it's all about.
I saw that at Planet Comic Con when I was there, but I was too busy. I was pressed, so I was like running around. And it was my first con too, so I was running around like a madman trying to like do all these interviews and schedule all this stuff. But yeah, they had a big tabletop, and then like a couple panels and stuff too. And then there was even like a training panel too, where you could like go and they kind of like introduce you to it and orient you
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, I know it's there. I'm just being a pouty little piss baby.
Yeah, dude, you're doing like 2 streams a day. You ain't got time for
Yeah,
tabletop
right?
gaming anymore.
Yeah, and I gotta like I gotta hype, Evan's a client. I gotta like hype comics and shit now, and like do all this do all this publicity shit, which I love, which is amazing. I'm so lucky and grateful for the opportunity. What's up, David? Thanks for tuning in, baby. But yeah, that's another thing too, is I'm really busy. The same deal as like I was talking to Cole about this the other night. I really would like to like ditch Canva and learn Photoshop. And I'm so
Oh, wow.
reliant on that, right? And I use it every day. And it's like, when do I have time to like train myself in new software while like and like, anyways, I just maybe one day I'll get a vacation, but it's too early. I've only been doing this a month. Like I can't talk about a vacation yet, right? It's too early.
Yeah.
Who does vacations anyways? Rich people. Anyway, but yeah, man, it's you have a really cool thing going on, and I'm so like like love having you on my show, but like really proud to like work with you and be a part of it, because I really do think once people start getting more of these books in their hands, that they're gonna see the magic you're making, man. Like Ignis Quadrant, I like that's so good, and we kind of mentioned in talking before, like we're both big Rick Remender fans, and love his sci-fi and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I can definitely see some of that inspiration um kind of bleed into your narrative, but also it's very much still has your own voice. Like I don't you're not your stuff gets a little dark, but you're not Ricky Dark yet, right? You're not
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to delve in a couple different avenues. It's interesting because I've loved comics as an adult. I got into them in college. I think I mentioned this maybe last time, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin, and we didn't have access to comic book stores. Like
Oh
I
wow.
didn't pick up a comic until I was in college, and then those were like the D&D and Pathfinder ones. And then I got into indie comics a lot more over the last half decade to a decade. But I'm pretty new to comics as a consumer, so I've obviously like went back and read what I could of the timeless stuff. But I never got on the Marvel bandwagon, never got on the DC bandwagon. So I'm coming into comics from a very broad background of like all the other adjacent categories. So when it comes to stuff like mixology noir, what I'm trying to do with some of my upcoming series, like I think by not having a deep well of knowledge of what's been done in comics before, I think it kind of frees me a little bit to think about like what exactly I want stuff to look like, and just to make it cool without thinking like I have to fit this into the comics mold or what the market expects,
Mhm.
which might hurt how I sell some of this stuff, but I'm still going to do it anyway.
Yeah, you mentioned, I don't want to bring up like a low point, but you mentioned to me a while back that
Mhm.
Mixology Noir didn't do as well as you wanted on
Yeah, for
Kickstarter.
sure.
And that really shocked me. Like just looking at the book, right? It's a beautiful book. Like if you were at a con walking by your table, that book sticks out. Like a lot of people would grab it and look at it and
Mhm.
you'd probably sell a lot of copies tabling it. And again, I also mentioned like the format and structure is really cool. These two one shots, flipping it over.
Mhm.
Very, very kind of like dark and disturbing, which as much as I love alcohol, that's oh, that sounded bad. As
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
like it takes you, it can take you down those dark paths. It can put you into weird
Right.
places, put you into great fun places too. It can put you in a nice little Blake's Buzz live stream, make you feel all comfy and warm too, right? But it can go, dark, and both of those narratives, kind of start that way. Is kind of like
Yeah.
the minor escape turning into a problem, and you manipulate that with these like whether it's old gods or Russian gangsters, like and like both stories are like wildly different, but so thematically coherent. It's very, very smart, intelligent writing. I thought it really impressed me. The prose in that too is kind of like a little lofty, at times a little, maybe even a little Lovecraftian, like, but not verbose, not overly wordy or anything. And again, like the art that you use in these books is just you have a really, really great eye for art. And then like the covers and sneak peeks of the new stuff you've shown me, because yeah, I'm cool like that. I get to see comics before everybody else. And but it I mean, man, you're just doing something a little different, a little more special, and it's just really impressive. That like, so if you guys don't know Evan, like he's got a fairly small new baby child, that like I hear those take up a lot of time. He's got a day job, which Tom kind of brought that up somewhere. Yeah, hey Tom, is Wolven a full-time thing? I think it is almost a full-time thing on top of his full-time
Oh man,
job.
I have essentially 3 jobs at this point. Yeah, I'm a full-time professional software engineer, and then I do the Wolven Press, and my other side business is EC3D, my tabletop stuff. But I bundle those into one thing. That's all outside of the full-time job. So am wired different than other people though. I've created and sold a couple software companies over my life, so I'm always
Wow.
entrepreneurially minded. So I always come at stuff from like creative, but also like how can I kind of make this work as a business? And
Okay.
my brain just jumps, I can shift gears really rapidly, which helps me multitask. And I think that's kind of been a very good way for me to get all these different comics going. Like I think a lot of people get so focused on a certain story, which is not a bad thing, right? They want to put all their time and energy into that. But my brain doesn't do that. I gotta be working in this genre for a day and then this genre and jumping all over. And that just means that I have to be making 5 books at a time or my brain doesn't know how to relax.
Well, I guess that's a good problem to have, man. Like that's one way to do it. I mean, because yeah, you're a lot of people can't hang like that. A lot of people do like one or two Kickstarters a year. Or some people like are like at three, and they're like, that's insane, like no
Yeah.
more. And some people go like above and beyond, like like we got like the Pat Shans and Charlie Stickneys of the world that just like crank stuff out for days. And I feel like you're en route to that, and I feel like you're on a right. Like how you feeling about the path now? Because like if people don't know, like Tox 1 and 2 came
Oh
out,
yeah.
did well. Blood Moon Comics picked it up, so it's going to be in comic book shops after the Kickstarter with some
Mhm.
different variants and stuff. I mean that's got to be feeling pretty good, right? I mean you're going to be able to like pre-order a comic and walk into a shop and get it, or depending on the shop, maybe just see it, on the shelves
Yeah, for sure.
when you walk in, and instead of just the crowdfunding. But I mean, even the crowdfunding, man, you got like a shipment of Tox sent to you, right? And you got to like see
Yeah.
bundles of that comic.
I had mentioned I came to comics kind of in a roundabout way, and I was never until recently a big fan of even going to comic book stores because that was not how I consume comics.
Mhm.
So for me, the market of success was never being on the comic book shelves. I have done about I think 30 Kickstarters at this point now total between all my tabletop gaming stuff in
It's
the past. So
insane.
coming to Kickstarter was kind of a known quantity for me in terms of the stress involved in it, what I had to do, obviously a different type of audience. So I'm stoked that Tox got picked up and is being published for sure. But I've never considered being published like what my end goal was for comics. It's
Mhm.
just another mechanism to be able to get some more credibility, to, get wider visibility and better artists willing to work with me in the future, and just kind of a more of a platform to create the stories I want to tell. And I'm, continue to try to get, stuff published through different avenues. But my end goal would be for Wolven Press to be its own, small press publisher, but getting distribution through Lunar or Diamond, and just churning out, a bunch of my own and other creators' books as well.
Just cranking it out yourself. Yeah, that'd be now. When you mentioned you have this like army of 3D printers in your basement. When you do these tabletop games, like, are you printing the miniatures yourself, or do you just print the initial one and then show that to like a company and they mass produce it?
Yeah. So the idea of 3D printing, I don't do physical products hardly ever, except for comics and a few of the tabletop accessories. When it comes to the 3D printing stuff, the printers are there for me to do R&D. It's for me to test print stuff, to get understanding experience of how the platforms work. But the majority of what my side business, what EC3D Design sells, is digital files that people purchase to print the product on their own printer at home.
Oh,
So that's obviously an amazing. I don't have inventory. I don't have margins. I've done, some pretty large sprawling projects here. So I've taught myself 3D design over the years, and I work with a ton of other contract, freelance designers to kind of supplement my own work. And that's what essentially most of those products are, is a bundle of digital files for someone who owns their own 3D printer to print those exact files.
okay, that's cool. I've kind of wanted a 3D printer, but I want a lot of things. I also want those fucking Apple goggles just so I can read. I was really
I thought about
excited,
the Apple goggles when you were talking about how single your love life is. I was like, well, maybe you should
right?
get some Apple goggles,
Right?
Blake.
Yeah, like that'll spice things up in the bedroom with myself. But no, what I really got well, now I'm excited about that. But what I really initially got excited about was the idea of reading digital comics on them, right? Because I was like, oh
Mhm.
shit, I read mainly digital I collect
Yeah, me
omnibuses
too.
and stuff, right? But like,
Yep.
when you send me stuff to read, when clients send me stuff to read, when publishers send me stuff to read, it's PDFs usually, right? So like digital
Yep.
comics is like, and I subscribe to like DC Unlimited or DC Universe Ultra and Marvel Unlimited, and so
For
like,
sure.
a lot of my comic reading is digital, and I was just like, man, like just
I
thinking of like,
mean, dude, buy a $300 iPad. Don't get a $3,500 VR headset if your goal is digital comic.
if we're gonna talk tablets, sir, I have a Galaxy S8 Plus 12.4-inch tablet, and
Yes,
it's great.
that works good.
It's hard to find a case that fits it. I finally did find one. And the pressure of having a 12.4-inch tablet, the weight on my shoulders of just that responsibility. With great tablet comes great responsibility. Again, if
Have
you
you?
guys don't watch Blake and Cole read a book, some of these jokes aren't going to make sense, but that just means you should go back and watch all 17 episodes of Blake and Cole read a book. Just knock them out in a weekend. It's better than watching Ted Lasso. I'm just kidding. Ted Lasso's great, but Ted Lasso's
It's
over.
over.
So yeah,
Yep.
go, and it's like over. So like go.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, maybe, but
So, Blake, have you ever done this? Have you ever been laying in bed or on the couch, whatever, reading your comics on your tablet? And you fall asleep and you
fall
drop
asleep and
that
drop it.
fucking
Yeah,
12-inch tablet on your
yeah,
head.
right on my face. Yeah,
I've done that so many times over the years.
I
And
feel
that's when
so
the first thing
stupid.
I thought of when those goggles, I'm like, man, I could just put those on and
Yeah,
just lay in bed and fall asleep and not drop something on my face.
yeah, and again, like I got real excited till I saw the price for them, and I'm sure eventually it'll go
Oh, yeah.
down,
I
and
mean, that'll
in
come
future
down. The first
iterations.
iPad was like $1,500 or something
Yeah,
insane.
yeah, I remember standing in line for the iPad 2, and I spent like it was like 8 inches, I don't think it was 10 inches yet, but and like not even HD, and I spent like $550 for it, because I got like the lowest memory, no cell phone chip. Real
Yeah.
quick, I'm being a dick. What's up, Three Good Nerds? Thank you so much for tuning in. You never told me where you got those miniatures when I left you a YouTube comment, or I just didn't read your reply as good, but I would like to know where you got those cool minutes. He had these little DC and Marvel miniatures. He's doing these. Shout out to Three Good Nerds. Go follow this motherfucker. He's awesome. He's like the coolest dad ever. They go like they do pizza and cards and comics, and they go on these family adventures, and it almost makes me wish No, it doesn't. I'm really glad I'm single and get to spend my money on stupid shit. But I love his channel. He's such a nice, super nice guy, and he's doing this cool deal where him and his son are like randomly proposing battles between comic book icons, and they're going to do a show on Sunday where they argue out who wins and who loses. I'm pretty excited for that Sunday show.
That sounds like a good way to make enemies in the viewers, because
Right?
you always got that one guy that's like disagrees with your opinion, especially when you see people do that for anime. Like, you just rile up people.
Yeah, I like anime, but I'm scared to talk about it. I read a lot of manga these days, right? And I have this weird. I have a lot of weird quirks, but one of my weird quirks is, I review a lot of comics, but I still feel slightly uncomfortable writing about manga because I feel like, and I know I am qualified, but I feel unqualified because I've only been into manga for like a year or so. In that year, I've read a shit ton and bought a shit ton, but like, it's different than comics. It's more cinematic, the pacing is way higher. And so it's just like, I don't know. Like, anyway, I probably just need to shut up and write about it. But
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been watching anime for 15 years, but I still feel like when I'm at a convention where there's like hardcore anime folks, I feel like I shouldn't even bring up my opinion because they're gonna know more than me. There's stuff I don't understand about the art. I'm a lazy consumer of anime, but I feel like in terms of your opinions on manga, I think there is actually a really big market for
idiot white guys
Western
who read
comic readers that want to get into manga and don't know how, not necessarily don't know how, but like would be interested in a take on it from somebody who is used to the same kind of comics they're used to, versus coming into it with the onus of just a manga reader who is familiar with the intricacies of the art.
Yeah, one day, because I have the best manga either live stream or podcast name, and it's Unbelievable. And I've tried to get this going, and like people have some people have shown interest, but then they people don't want to commit, and like people are like, I don't know if I can do it every week, right? You have a family or whatever, like my job, or all these lame excuses people throw at me. But
I don't have any friends, I can't play D&D.
yeah, right. That's same shit. I'm a giant. If y'all don't know me, I'm a giant hypocrite. You'll find out the longer you listen to the show. But it's something I would really love to do, just because like there was a time where I was totally uninterested in it, and like the black and white art didn't appeal to me, and I was just like, no, like I need like more panels and more dialogue and color, and like whatever, and more superhero stuff and blah blah blah. But like, dude, when I got into it, like I think what really hit it was because I'd read a little bit of Attack on Titan, and it was cool. But what really got me is when I finally bought the Akira box set, and it was real pretty. I'd wanted it for a while. I finally bought it. It got a friend. I got like gift cards for my birthday one year, right? So I got a few Amazon gift cards, and I bought the box set on Amazon. Don't judge me. They gave me gift cards. I had to use Amazon for Amazon. I use Amazon.
I use Amazon for everything.
We all do. We just are supposed to pretend we don't. But so like I got this beautiful box set, and usually, unless I'm like cramming for a show and prepping, usually I have a hard time binging stuff, even TV, and I got to take a break sometimes because it loses its magic. Eventually, I'll start playing especially if it's like TV or something. I'll start playing on my phone a lot, and I'll miss shit. So I have to take breaks and like switch it up every now and then. Akira, I took no breaks. I ate all 6 of those giant hardcovers up like the tastiest air fryer sandwich that Cole was talking about in the comments earlier. I don't know what kind of sandwich he made, but I'm assuming it was good because it was made in an air fryer, and air fryers were made by the gods. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Air fryers are cool though.
No, you're right. You're not wrong about that.
But like I like couldn't stop reading it, and and I was like losing sleep. Like I was staying up late reading it, and like losing track of time, right? That really cool reading experience where you're like, I'm just going to read for a little bit longer, and then you finish a book.
That's why I had to quit video games. Exactly that reason.
Because it's all of a sudden it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You're like, shit, I gotta be at work.
I'm ignoring my wife. Yeah, I had to quit cold turkey.
Yeah, so you don't play video games at all? ever?
Oh, I was like designing video games when I was younger. I was obsessed with it, and then I got older, and I just realized that I have too many hobbies. Like if I
Yeah,
want to exist as a human being and a decent parent and husband, I have to keep a rein on what I can think I can be into.
good
But
man. That's
it,
I have
well, I
fallen
still have
out.
way too many hobbies.
What- yeah, that's I try to keep I like to cook. I don't know if cooking's a hobby. Cooking's more of like
Oh,
a
absolutely.
is it? Okay. Well, I like to cook
Yeah.
and I like comics and then I do all this shit. And I because of all this, like that kind of video games kind of died away for me. I used to be really into Destiny. And I was like bad
Mm.
into Destiny. Like it's fucking 6:30 in the morning. We got to
Yeah,
be
for
at
sure.
work at 10, but we're gonna beat this fucking raid no matter what happens, right? And
Mhm.
I was like that into Destiny. But I also had like my best friend from kindergarten. We didn't hang out as much, and we would play together, and so we would like play all night and just talk like we would like talk like we were talking on the phone, but while we were playing Destiny, and it was like so
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
it
sure.
became like a cool,
It's
kind of
more than just
special. Yeah,
gaming.
it was like
Yeah.
it was actually like a social deal. And but then I started doing this and I had to be real careful about like
Right.
how my time was spent, and I kind of fell out of video games. But like man, I got that new laptop, right? And so like I have this gaming laptop now and I played Cyberpunk for a little bit and I probably put about 22 hours into Cyberpunk and it was dope. And then but again like I get either distracted or have to take a break, and so that's something I'd like to come back to. But long story short, all I keep thinking about is Diablo 4. Oh my, I skipped Diablo
Oh, man.
3, right? But like Diablo 2,
I
Lord of
played 3, yeah.
Destruction, like, dude, when I was in high school, like that's oh, dude, man, I still remember like the thrill of magic finding and like, fucking flying through these dungeons with these
Oh,
overpowered
yeah.
characters, slaying the bosses, trying to find runes, trying to find unique items, right? Like collecting
Do you
stones
remember
of
Diablo
Jordan.
1? Diablo
Yeah,
1 where you
yeah.
could go over by the crypt entrance and you could double click items on the ground, like, rapidly, and you could and duplicate them in your inventory and sell
I
them?
didn't remember
That
that.
was,
When I
like, the
played
insane
Diablo
hack.
1, I played it on PlayStation 1, like when it came out on when it came out on PlayStation. So like cuz I didn't have a PC then. So like
Yeah,
I didn't know a lot of the hacks, but like Diablo 2 was my fucking jam. And like I had all these like I had a lot of great characters and I was like I was good. Like I could duel people and like win. And I
nice.
got to like that point where you could go into the marketplace and I had a surplus of items to trade and I could just like if I wanted to make a druid, I could think of what build and items I needed and just fucking go trade and get all my shit and then
For
grind,
sure.
right? And it was
Diablo
like it
2
was a
had the
beautiful
was the one that
experience.
had an online marketplace, right? Like, one of the
Yeah.
first ones?
Yeah. Which is how I
That
got
was
hacked.
actually Yeah, that was my first, like, foray into understanding, and entrepreneurship and the value of business. When I was in high school,
Wow.
actually, it was middle school still, I got a job washing dishes at a restaurant near my house. I think 14 was the earliest you could legally be employed in Wisconsin, and I saved up enough money to buy and build a computer, which was my first desktop PC game or rig, and then I played Asheron's Call, which was an online MMORPG, like, pre, World of Warcraft, and I was obsessed with that shit. I would go farm items and stuff. And then when I got into high school, I would build these characters and I would sell them. And I was making like 800-900 bucks a pop for these characters that I would build up. And I was like,
Sorry,
this is
I'm
business.
just
Like, this is
advertising for a
how
would-be
business has to
sponsor.
be,
Sorry.
for sure.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I never I want to build a PC, but I haven't. I my first gaming PC I bought with student loan money, which is why I owe so much goddamn money now. I'm never gonna get out from under it. But I bought some cool stuff with that check. Um, but I remember like I had a back in the day I had a NVIDIA 8800 Ultra. So for like a short time
Yeah,
I had a PC with the best graphics card in it and I could like play anything. And it was so cool. And I when I remember like oh man, I'm like aging myself. When the first Modern Warfare came out, and I played it
hmm.
on
Oh, I
PC,
remember that. Yeah,
I was good enough. I was a sniper. Like that was the only time I've never been able to snipe on a console. It's too hard. But like with the keyboard and mouse, like I could be a sniper, and like people would people would like
Right.
accuse me of cheating, and I was like, I'm not
Did you get one of those fancy razor mouses with the higher sensitivity so you could look around quicker?
I had a Logitech one with the higher sensitivity, and you could put the weights in it to like make it exactly feel how you wanted to feel like when you were scrolling across the mouse pad. And again,
Yeah.
like it was an eye-opening experience, like going from console gaming to PC gaming and now back. But it's funny, like I love talking about games. Like this conversation we're having right now, I'm sure you're loving it because you're like, Blake,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not making any money on this conversation. We're supposed to talk about my comics. We'll get there. We'll get.
You think I'm here to make money?
True. But like so like when I talk about this stuff, like I miss it. Like I have a Nintendo Switch, and my about to be brother-in-laws, like when my sister, and I just call them my brother-in-law because they're getting, well, I guess I shouldn't jinx it, but they're basically getting married in the fall.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's gonna change. But like, you know, when they come over, like he comes over with his Switch now, and so he's just like playing Zelda while we're all hanging out, and he still like talks and is like, you know, like we have like dinner and stuff, but he like can't, he's so addicted, and I like kind of watch him play
That's
it, and it looks
that's
so
kind
cool.
of a problem a little bit.
Yeah, he's
Right? Like,
he's hooked on it. He's hooked on it bad. But like, yeah, they've got like a PS5, and they've got the PS5 VR, and my sis, like because of that, like and getting with him, and like my sister's kind of more into gaming now and stuff, and we play Mario Kart sometimes, and so like I miss gaming sometimes, but it's just like it's a bummer because yeah, like it's the time suck, right? It like
oh,
it can
yeah.
so grab you and manipulate you, and then all of a sudden like you don't know where you are anymore, and 3 days have passed, and I open up my
Yep.
email, and you know, people are asking why I didn't like promote their comic for the last 3 days or something, right? Like, so I have to be careful about shit like that,
No,
because
that's one of the reasons that I love comics and like serialized media now, like weekly TV shows and stuff, because it's got a built-in throttling mechanism, right? Like if you're reading a
yeah,
comic that comes out monthly, you read it and then you're
yeah.
done, right? Or you can reread it, or like TV shows. That's good for me because I do not self-regulate on something like, hey, here's Cyberpunk, you know, where there's 120 hours of open-ended gameplay. Like, just know when to stop yourself. That ain't gonna work good for me.
Now, but do you think that mentality for you, do you think that also helps you succeed in these endeavors that you're on right now? Like that go hard and get and completely absorb yourself in it and become a part of it. Like, I mean, I feel like maybe in a way that could maybe be a good thing about like your tabletop company, your software endeavors, and your comic book endeavors, because it's just like
Right.
you want to get so into it and do as much as you can, no matter how much time it takes, maybe. Or is that, or are you
Oh,
like a
for sure.
workaholic and you're like, no, Blake, this is something my
Uh,
wife and I are working on, and
it's both. Like I'm not going to get into something unless I truly feel passionate about it, and then my brain wants me to do it. So I get, you know, that dopamine rush doing what many people would consider work, but it feels like fun for me most of the time. But this actually harkens back to a question that Tom had asked in the chat about,
I was
you
just
know,
about to
running a
bring that up.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great
honestly, one of the
minds.
strategies I've used over the years has helped me a lot. Well, especially when I'm working on like multiple comic series and tabletop gaming stuff and all these things that are all these different threads running in different directions at the same time. Is I try to make a list of like, what do I need to accomplish in the near term and then like the midterm. I know like long term, like this project needs to get done or whatever, but I'll be like, this week I need to accomplish these 5 things, and some of them might be bigger than others, and I'm willing to like try to pull more in if I get ahead. But I do not feel good about myself unless I can accomplish the list that I create, even if that list is in my head. I know like what the hell do I got to get done so that next week if things can keep moving. And in comics, that's often like, you know, I need to get this script finished or edited so that the artist who's working on the last 5 pages isn't blocked, or, you know, I need to get this stuff over to the colorist. I need to get this lettered so I can, you know, do this submission, whatever that might be. It's about, at least in my world, the way I think about it is that because of all these projects and all this progress I want to make, I need to keep, everything needs to be moving. Every project can never come to a standstill. So it's my job, you know, to make sure that everything is, that blockers are removed and progress can continue at
Nice.
every, you know, turn, even if that is just one thing a week.
So are you like hyper organized?
Not on paper. My brain is pretty good at organizing things.
Nice.
I have really good like recall of things I need to be working on, and what I can keep track of, which the byproduct of that is that in my day-to-day life, like my wife will say something to me and I'll listen to her and then it'll just go right out the window. Like, I think of your brain as RAM, right? Where you have to have a limited amount of storage. You have to eject some stuff to keep things. I keep a lot, like 80% of that as work and my, creative tasks. And then I have to like, a lot of stuff sometimes gets left behind that I should be paying attention to in my personal life, but that's a separate, separate scenario. But over the years, I've built, spreadsheets for like a comic book, right? Where I can copy and paste it, where I'm like, I can just plug in production costs for lettering. Well, not lettering because I do it myself, but the art, inking, coloring, editing, whatever I might need to do, print costs, all the stuff so that I can have at a glance an idea of what I'm going to spend on a comic and, how much I have to be ready to distribute over a short period of time to pre-make it. Because you mentioned earlier, like how I won't fundraise a thing or push it to a publisher or whatever until at least one issue is done. And I think that is because there's no risk, right? As a consumer, it's so much easier to sell something to somebody when it's done.
Yeah.
Right. You've all seen indie comic book Kickstarters where there's like a page and a half, or there's like a really pretty cover and there's no interiors. And you're like, it's a great idea, but I don't know this creator. Like, what the hell am I going to get?
Or the new one where there's like
to,
a cover and a bunch of naked covers and a bunch of almost naked covers and no
which is probably
fucking interior art.
Already,
yeah, and then it's instantly funded. Real quick shout out to John Westhoff. Thanks for tuning in, baby. But yeah, it's dude, I'm with you, man. Like, and that's why I like working for you. Like when I reach out to other, because we were trying to push getting you reviews, right? And like, how much your Kickstarter was very successful, and now it's going to come to the direct market. So like from Kickstarter to fulfillment to direct market, there's been a lot of people review your comic, and that couldn't happen if it wasn't done.
If it wasn't
right
done.
like
right.
And that like, so what do you think about that? Like, do you think that was like beneficial and helpful to your crowdfunding success to like have that done, ready to go out to reviewers, ready to go out to podcasters to like read before you come on and like really be able to like deep dive into it? Like, was that a good marketing element?
Oh yeah. I mean, if I have my ducks in the row, I'm reaching out for reviews on something months before it's going to be actually, crowdfunded. And that's the right strategy because there's the long tail, any reviewer in the world's got just a shit ton of emails and stuff waiting for reviews, and they're at the mercy of direct market releases if they're doing those kind of reviews too. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of value in being able to show more previews, page previews, right? Or I even show thumbnails of the whole book in my Kickstarter. Because I'm like, look, you can flip through this at a comic store if you're going to buy a comic there. Like, at least get a sense of how the graphics flow and stuff. And as a creator, like there's so much stress involved in a Kickstarter in terms of dealing with like ongoing messaging, communication, marketing, all that stuff. The last thing you want to be doing is scrambling to finish that book while it's happening too. So going into a Kickstarter and knowing the day it's funded, all I have to do now is wait for Kickstarter to get the funds done. I have the stuff ready to go already. I've communicated with my printer. They're getting the quantities like 2 days after it's done. I have the stuff already in my house to fulfill it. Like, me and my wife fulfilled all of Tox, the whole Kickstarter, in like 3 hours in our living room because I knew I was prepped and I had everything. The books came in, we just did it all. Like, that's just preparation. And that is a byproduct of having done it multiple times now, but also having the book done, having everything organized, and knowing what I had to do to get it done before I even started.
Now, I guess this would be a good part, 48 minutes into our conversation. Tox is a really great book about, a little bit Mad Max, Fury Road, a little bit Children of Men. There's the humanity is barren, and there's a wasteland, and there's mutants, and our blood has turned against us, right? And I love that. I love that, like, something so primal and visceral and like this natural thing has made us into monsters, and the fear that lingers in the characters, because like it's inevitable, the inevitability of the evolving, or I guess devolving, right, into a monster, basically, and then after that happens, like your time is limited. But it's like every human's going to go through this, and we know that. And there you can do blood transfusions and you can hold it off a little bit, but we see in the characters that, even then, like sometimes you don't catch it till it's too late.
Yeah.
And this creepy world, which is full of sex and violence and exploration, and also like a deep dive into humanity about, right? Like when the when the when the
100%.
when reality crumbles, when expectations crumble, when morality crumbles, like what happens to humans. And I love how you play with that. And so basically it's about these survivors and these rats. They call them rats. They go out into the world. They try and find, you know, things for their society, to, you know, food, canned goods, supplies, whatever. And all of a sudden, spoiler alert, everybody knows this though because the cover, someone gets pregnant. And and after that, right, like everybody wants a taste, some of them literally, right, like
Yeah.
this child becomes a symbol of hope, and then it becomes a scientific element to study and manipulate, and then it also becomes like a delicacy to put on a dinner plate for some, and which is wildly disturbing. And it's a wild adventure. We've gotten 2 issues. I'm so excited for issues 3 and 4. I'm so
Which are
glad. Like,
done.
really?
Yeah.
God.
3 and 4 are done, and 5 is getting art right now. I just finished up lettering 4 this
And,
morning.
and 5 is it, or is it going to be 6?
It's the first arc is 5. We'll see how
Okay.
everything goes. There's a
Before
good
you
chance
go?
the universe will get revisited, but we'll see.
Nice. All right. So yeah, so it'll be five issues. I like how you're doing the twofers on Kickstarter too. Like I think
Oh yeah.
that's a
I
smart
mean,
way.
as a consumer, like, one issues suck on Kickstarter, and they suck in the direct market too. Like, nobody wants 22 pages and to have to wait.
Mhm.
Like, I personally wish that floppies would go away and we would all be doing, 48 issue prestige books all the
Right?
time,
The Ed
and you get
Brubaker,
more
Sean
bang
Phillips
for your
way.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm with you. Especially with Kickstarter though, because of the time, like even if you are some kind of fucking like mastermind like you are, and you have everything's done and ready to go, it's still like, I mean, that month to month deadline is basically impossible when you're crowdfunding, unless you don't like eat or sleep, and it's just like that's all you do, and so like yeah, the time between issues
Mhm.
elongates, and so giving your audience 2 issues to like really dive in, really get into the heat
Mhm.
of things, really get to appreciate the story you're building, and then fucking, you know, like lure them in like you were
Right.
pulling up in a white van with a sack full of candy at a playground. That's a bad analogy, but you know, basically
No, I get it.
you're teasing us enough to where we're like, we have to have it. And so yeah,
Right.
I do like that. And I also agree, the original graphic novel is lovely, and it speaks, you know, to the industry when 2 icons like Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips walk up to Image and say, this is how we're going to make our comics from now on, and we're not doing monthly issues anymore, and you're going to deal
Right.
with our deadlines and time frames if you want our comics. And it's them, right? So Image is like, you do whatever the fuck you want, guys, like, you know. And but it's and people love it. Like people love those reckless
Mhm.
books. They got a new one coming out next week. Shout out to next week's Blake and Cole Read a Book, because we'll be covering it and giving a copy away. And hashtag EcoBoost. If we get 50,000 followers by the end of the week, Ford Motor Company has said they may give away a truck. They haven't told us if it's drivable, if it's real or a model or like a 3D model or something, but they have
Well, that's
said
one of those eco engines that you pour Maker's Mark in, and it just produces
yes.
kinetic energy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or you put trash in it too, like a DeLorean. Or I can stand over it and just verbally vomit all my fucking bullshit into it, and it fills the tank up. It's a Ford EcoBoost is a miraculous
That sounds
invention
amazing.
of America. Everybody, please go watch Blake and Cole Read a Book so some of this shit makes sense. Oh my goodness. Thank God Ronan's still in here. Thanks, Ronan. But yeah, we on last week's Blake and Cole, or this week's, it was yesterday, such a long time ago. We read Mindset from Vault, which deals with like mind control and influences and
Mhm.
brand influence. And it was actually quite intelligent. Some people may not see it that way, but we started like overloading the stream with branding, and then joked around about it online today. And the reason why I keep bringing up Maker's Mark is because we tagged Ford, Little Caesars, Maker's Mark, Fairline Chili, which
Hmm.
we tagged all these people and Vault and the creators of this comic in the post. Like, we're gonna get canceled, but like, or not canceled, but like, no one's gonna listen to us anymore. But they also should, because it was hilarious. But Maker's Mark was the only one that responded, and Maker's Mark responded, and they were like, "Cheers, fellas!" And so I went hard. I was like, hey, Cole and I love Maker's Mark. We like to drink it during the show sometimes. We just love it so much. And if you guys ever wanted to sponsor two YouTube nerds, we'd love to be a part of your company. They didn't respond to that part, but they did respond to the initial tweet. Anyway, that's the story, and that's why I bought a giant bottle of Maker. Well, I wanted to drink.
You got to rep the brands you love, whether they pick you up or not.
Right? Even though we've been like talking shit on direct market, I'm wearing a Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy hat. But also, this hat is sexy as fuck, and it's got the cosmos underneath the brim. Anyway,
I'm just waiting for Guardians of the Galaxy to come
to streaming.
So watch it.
Dude, it sucks that Disney has gotten money hungry. Well, like, they weren't money hungry before, but they're delaying the stream. Like Ant-Man took a while, extra time to come out because they want stuff to stay in theaters longer. It sucks that we've really gotten spoiled with that, like how soon movies come out now, right? Because of quarantine and like direct to release.
Oh, I mean, yeah, 5 years ago, this stuff would never even be coming to streaming. Like, we should be. I'm still very grateful of the availability of stuff in our home that it is now. That was never there before.
Yeah,
but it's still a bummer that I just got to wait a little longer.
But, it's especially because
still great. It's coming it off.
Yeah, it's like I keep. Luckily, like, I'm really good at avoiding spoilers online because I'll unfollow a motherfucker. Like, if you spoil shit like soon after something comes out, like, unless I really like you or you're really hot, I'm gonna unfollow you. Like, it's even if you're pretty hot, if you spoil stuff, I'm gonna unfollow you. But like, I'm good at avoiding spoilers and so yeah, I haven't seen anything about it yet. I'm pretty sure someone doesn't die, which is good. That didn't make me mad. But yeah, anyways, I'm really excited to see it. I'm almost as excited to see Guardians of the Galaxy as I am to read Talks 3 and 4, which is just like even more. I'm so glad it's done. And again, I'm going to post this link in the old chatty poo. If you guys aren't signed up for Talks 3 and 4, the sign up page is live. You got a live date yet, or are you ready to announce that or not?
Not sure.
Okay.
TBD. Pretty soon though. I wanted people to get a chance to read their 1 and 2 first, which is obviously getting delivered now. So a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks probably.
Nice. And Eric still is Eric working with you on the whole series still?
Yeah, up to 5 for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, it's cool. Again, like, there was when the last time you were on with Eric, you had mentioned that you have faith in your storytelling, not so much as your writing. And that shocked me when I read Ignis Quadrant and Mixology Noir. Ignis Quadrant is really, really good. It sings with notes of like Fear Agent and just like, fucking Monty Bones, man. Fucking Monty Bones.
Bones, right?
He's fucking. I love him. I love the guy.
That's my sense of humor and brain in a character, 100%.
I love it so much. And the robot AI side character, the love interest. Someone has 3 boobies in it. Love the Total Recall.
Yeah, throwback. Total Recall, baby.
But like, dude, it was really good. Like, you're a good writer. Like, you really are. You couldn't be able to tell the stories you're telling and be a shit writer, right? I get like where your worry comes from, and I do think that like whatever you guys did with Talks is very, very strong, right? And so like, whatever, if you want to bring writers in and work with them and that makes you feel comfortable and that's the vibe that you want to bring, like, keep doing it, don't stop. But like, the stuff I've read from you just solo as a creator with an art team is very good, is very impressive. And I loved Ignis Quadrant. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you follow Evan at Wolven Press, there's an underscore in between it, right? On Twitter?
Hell if I remember. Probably.
We should.
Yeah, Wolven _
love
Press.
when I have you guys on and no one can ever remember what their social media profiles are. It's not just
Yeah.
you. It's fucking like everybody's like,
Oh, I
oh
get it.
God. Um
So to your point, Blake, here's a hot take. I don't enjoy writing.
that's
I
it.
love
Oh my
making
God.
stories, but
You're
I fucking hate
insane.
writing. I'm a visual person. So I letter all my own comics. I
Okay.
didn't letter the first couple of Ignis Quadros, but I letter everything myself. I do like obviously the art direction with the actual artists and stuff. That's the fun part for me is watching it take visual shape. I write these stories simply because it has to happen for what's in my brain to get out there. I do
Yeah.
not love the act of writing. I'm not one of those people that's like out learning how to be a better writer. So I know I'm limiting my actual ability to be a really strong writer like that. Like I've been a member of like Scott Snyder's class for a couple years, and like I've read some books and stuff to try to get myself to a level where I can write decently. But I don't consider myself a writer. I don't ever want to be a good writer. And I'll unabashedly say, for like the case of Tox, I wanted that one to be like a really strong, mass market, direct market appealing story. And I said, all right, to do so, I got to get people on board here that have actual, stuff in the market and are good. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to work with Eric, and thank God he said yes and did an amazing job. But like that was my goal there. And when I'm working on so many projects at a time, like writing, the way my brain works anyway, writing takes really dedicated focus to sit down for a while and
Oh,
uninterrupted, not have all the other things happening.
and
And
you're
that's tough for me.
bouncing. Okay.
So yeah. So I have two other series I'm writing in addition to the Ignis Squadron that are getting made right now. But I have multiple that are being made with co-writers where I'm working with them, ideating the story, acting as an editor, art director, and then somebody else is doing the page to page dialogue.
So you're playing with the puppet strings and then uh delegating. So that's
Yeah,
kind of right.
absolutely,
Yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
Well, that's cool too. But I mean, still, like, you're still a very strong storyteller, and I did just want to let you know that, like, I very much dug your solo writing endeavors, and you're breaking my heart a little bit because as a writer, like, I would love to be doing, and I could do this. I couldn't pay for it. I don't know how I'd pay for shit like you do. But I'd have to take way more clients on, and then
You just work 40 hours a day and then give up on your dreams for 20 years.
But no, well, like I said, man, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And again, I know this is vague and it's not going to help our audience, but like, I've got to see some of what Wolven Press is getting ready to drop, whether it be covers or some interior art or a pitch to send out to publishers and shops. And Evan has got some really, really great stuff going on. And you guys, you need to follow him. You need to follow him on social media, keep track of him. You can follow him on Kickstarter too, so when his like new campaigns go live. But I can't recommend enough. Like, he's got an online shop, and you really should. Like, Ignis Quadrant is a beautiful trade. It's 0 through 5, so you get a nice 6 issues. It's a great first arc. It
Yeah,
ends.
I'm very proud of
You
that
should
book.
be. You should be.
It's good. Yeah.
It's got a great, satisfying end, and I always tell people it impresses me. It really, really impresses me when it ends well and there's just enough left there to where, like, you want more and there could be more, but if there isn't more, and this is comics, right? So that can happen.
Mhm.
If there isn't more, you're going to be okay, and it's still going to be a great book. And if there is more, you're going to be right fucking there to buy it. And you did that. You ended it well. It had a great arc. It had a great story. The characters went through the motions. They evolved. They became new things. And it ends in a way where the adventure isn't necessarily done. And now you started to tease some very tasty, delightful panels and pages on your social medias that you're making that happen. And that's just that, to me, that's just really exciting. And I like
Do you,
I
do
like
you
your
know
vibe.
do you know that I have a whole anthology in that universe done for like 2 years already that
I
I
did
just am
not
waiting to launch?
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
I
Like,
have
is
a
it
whole
just you, or
anthology.
did you have like a lot of other
No,
creators
oh,
with you?
go! I got Chris Moses wrote a story, Travis Gibb, Brian Hawkins, James Roach. Like I got a bunch of
What?
people that wrote stories for this over the last couple of years. It's I think right now 12 7-page stories with and an art book, and it's called How to Die in the Quad, and it's themed about death. Like this, the
Ooh, that's
galaxy
a
is
good
brutal.
title.
So every story is loosely themed around death, in this like widespread galaxy. And I just been waiting for the right time to launch it on Kickstarter. I started building it right at the beginning of COVID, and everyone's shit, obviously, and anthologies were not doing so great. So
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just
and right,
slowly adding more
they're
to
coming
it
back
and getting
like,
ready for it.
because for
Yeah.
some people shit the bed for everybody and like, you know, vanish with the money or whatever, whatever things
Right.
didn't happen, or you know, like people got greedy in anthologies, but they're coming. They're things are anthologies are
This
starting to
is
perform better.
this is something I'm very happy about. That was a complete coincidence. Is that these were all a lot of these people were like really not real new, super new, but like indie creators at the time when I reached out to them
Yeah,
and like got them to write a story for this. And then a lot of them became very successful since then and have multiple published books. And that's gonna, I hope, help the anthology. So
yeah,
like it's a byproduct of COVID having to wait a couple years. But this anthology just has all these awesome indie folks who were indie 3 years ago that are now like well known and published, that
yeah. Still
wish
indie, but
their stories would be published by
yeah.
now, but
No,
soon, soon,
I
folks.
love Chris Moses, man. He's good people, and
Oh, for sure.
he's like you. He's got a real big mind that's moving 1,000 miles an hour on 500 different things, and he's got his hands in a lot of pots, and he's always moving and grooving. But
Yeah.
he writes some really cool stuff too, and another guy who has a great eye for like art and sci-fi. I missed this comment because everybody knows I'm really, really good at comments. But when we were talking about the three boobies throwback, makes me wish I had three hands, dude. I've wished I had three hands for a long time.
Oh,
I won't
come
get
on.
in. I
We're
won't get
all
into why.
white dudes. We know.
No, not triple handing it. Just like
uh,
one hand on one hand on something else, and one
for
hand.
sure.
I don't know what I'm doing. You gotta have the keyboard.
Just remember that the brain is the strongest sex organ, okay?
Yeah, and the skin is the longest organ. It is, right? Because it stretches.
It's your biggest organ is the skin. I
Yeah,
don't know about longest.
yeah, or the biggest or whatever. Yeah, I took a science class in grade school. It didn't stick. I'm a podcaster, not a scientist. Am I a podcaster anymore? I haven't released a podcast in a while. I've been doing all this live stream stuff. Apparently, it's the same now. Like, because everybody wants video.
I
been
misuse
talking
the
about
term
this.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, honey, I got to go on a podcast. This isn't a podcast, but I call everything a podcast.
I think now it is though. Like, I think live stream and podcast have become synonymous, especially because a lot of people cross. Well, they'll double dip, which I need to start doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I keep forgetting. I need to like strip the audio and re-release it. Yeah, right. Isn't there? Didn't know that was a lie. I just about said that like the average human skin, if you put it like
now I'm imagining like a very detailed, like nice twirly cut so you can get the maximum length. Like you can get some serious distance out of one piece of skin.
Because I swear this is going to be so wrong and everybody's going to make fun of me forever. But I swear to God, I had a teacher in grade school, and there was like if you attached it like cell by cell, it could like stretch around the world. Your skin.
I think now that you're saying that doesn't sound
wrong.
insane.
It doesn't.
I'm about to Google length of skin. Wish me luck.
I'm basically a grade school science teacher. Everybody, it's all right. K-pop agrees, and K-pop and I are doppelgangers, except not. She was talking about a different Blake in a previous episode. She said the other day she was like Blake and I are doppelgangers, and I was like, you're prettier than I am and have more hair, but okay. And she was like, no, the comic book writer, the lady, I can't think of her last name. Anyways, I really should.
You're not the only Blake.
No, I wish. I mean, in my eyes, yeah, I'm the only.
Are you at least the only Blake associated with bees?
Yeah, I believe so.
Can we at least got that going for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm easily Googleable. Like if it like there's not any other Blake's buzz. If you Google like Blake Morgan or Blake Tom, like I don't know, like I'm really easy to find. So yeah, I'm pretty I guess I lucked out and having a basic white boy Catholic name and I really lucked
How'd you
out in
land?
Blake's Buzz.
How'd you land on the bee thing? What's the origin story there? Where'd that come from?
All right. Well, all right. So since I'm being interviewed now, no, when I first started, I was writing. I got like addicted to writing reviews. Like when I launched the blog and I got on these press lists, like I would wake up early in the morning before work and I would write like 2 reviews. And so like most days I was almost writing 2 reviews a day. And I was like hungry. I was cranking it out and I didn't even really have to try. And I found burnout shortly after that and had to
I was
calm
gonna say
down.
that sounds like a
Yeah.
recipe for burnout.
But for a while, like I just wanted it. Like I just was like, I would wake up before my alarm went off and I would write.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I was doing like 2 reviews a day and my buddies were like, God damn, dude, like you're so. I wasn't even doing interviews yet. They're like, you're fucking big. You're like a busy little bee. And then like people started doing like the buzz thing. And
So just to confirm, these are the same buddies that won't play D&D with you.
Yeah. Well, these are my nerd internet friends that like I know like from like Twitter. Like so like okay, so rewind. My online persona started. I was like when I had like 300 followers, right? I would do 1 tweet reviews. And it was a struggle and I enjoyed the struggle because I would like
that. I wish you would do that again. That sounds great.
I kind of want to, but I hate it.
reviews.
I got too wordy. I got too cocky and wordy and launched like a blog and a
Why can you
Substack.
get too wordy in the 140 characters?
Because you have to cut it. I had to tag the creators, right? So you would have to like really.
No, you
really,
do that in the thread. You don't have to do that.
Well, yeah. Now we know like we could do like link and comments and shit, right? But before we knew all that, I would in 1 tweet I would review the comic and tag the creators that I could find that were available. And so it was it became a very precise chess-like game of characters. And I was so limited to say what I needed to say about the comic and tag the creators. And then creators started to retweet it. Some started to follow me. And then that's when I started to build a following. And there was a really, really long time where people were like, Blake, you should start a blog. And I had dropped out of grad school and I dropped out of grad school because I got burned out on writing and it kind of broke me a little bit. And I learned a lot and I'm a good writer because of it, but it still put me in a weird place. And so like, I didn't want to do a blog, right? I didn't want to write technically. I wanted to tweet. I want to do these 1 tweet reviews. And then finally, like around like, 600 or 700 followers, I was like, I wrote a review as a thread for Dauntless Publishing, actually, one of their first books, with Marcus, and he like sent me a review copy and I really liked it. And so I wrote this review as a Twitter thread and like it got traction. Like everybody was going crazy about it. The creators like messaged me and they were like very appreciative of it and it made me feel really good. And then finally I launched the blog and it was like when I first had my Wix page, it was Blake's Buzzin' Reviews. And then it turned into Blake's Buzz as a joke that we were making fun of this guy I used to podcast with. I probably shouldn't say that, but this guy was obsessed with this is gonna come back to haunt me. This guy was obsessed with white noise, the Vault white noise guys, and he used to talk about it all the time. And we were thinking of like what's the antithesis of like white noise, like black sound or something. And then the joke came out of like then it turned into Pink Buzz, and I used to be on this podcast called Pink Buzz, and then I fell out with those guys because I don't work well with people, and like I've quit a lot of podcasts, and anyways, like it turned into Pink Buzz, and then while I was Pink Buzz, I launched Blake's Buzz, and it was like a unified deal. So everybody was cool with it, and then I quit and then took Blake's Buzz, and then it was my buddy Fred who taught me how to podcast. Shout out to Comic Dad Fred. If he watches this, he's a fucking great dude, but he he doesn't podcast anymore, but he taught me a lot about podcasting, and like another group of people that taught me how to be comfortable with myself, and like, yeah, I say weird shit sometimes, and that's okay, and maybe people like that, and maybe that's why people watch my show, and like, but I used to be real scared of that. I used to really censor myself, and stuff like this, like sidetrack stuff, like it used to terrify me, because I was like,
This is the point of the podcast or live stream.
yeah.
You don't know this is. I was actually paid to reverse therapize you
Yeah.
for this interview.
I'm Evan's client, actually. But yeah, it just he was like, man, you're a busy bee. And then his kids made like a meme of like me as a bee, like on like the sweet cheer. What are the sweet Cheerios? The honey oat Cheerios, the little bee guy.
Cheerios.
Yeah, they made me a meme as him, and then Blake's buzz turned into this like busy bee, and then the bee thing happened, and then yeah, it was completely accidental. And then I watched a Canva video about how to make a logo in Canva, and
Nice.
I took the advice, and I was like, oh, bees, and then when I made the B2 and the thought bubble, and another buddy who does graphic design, he was like, dude, you should put a lightning bolt in the bee, and like,
Yeah.
I'll play on that buzz too. And then I was like, okay. And then and then it just stuck. And then some people come to me and they're like, dude, you're so good at branding. And you're like, I can't believe you made that logo. Like, can you help me? And I'm like, no, dude, this has all been accidental.
I have two takeaways here that I need to tell you. First and foremost, your logo is great, but on your background here for the live stream,
Yeah, I
you
need
know
to
the
fix
little
it.
bee on the yellow side. No, it looks good, but the bee in the yellow
It
side,
needs to go up.
he needs to have little lightning bolts, which is like coming off the antenna. Like he needs to be
Oh
broadcasting some
shit!
electronic shit.
Like he's a satellite.
Yeah, for sure,
Oh,
absolutely.
shit.
You're doing fucking streaming, bro. You send me that bee, I'll give you some lightning bolts. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Cause also I would like to like, Evan is really good at graphic design. Like he does, like the promo he makes for talks, like they're always so pretty. You guys didn't get to see it, but he drafted this email that, basically like an email to send to reviewers and shops and publishers to pitch his new comic. And like the way it's formatted, it's it's like an introductory letter, but it's got these borders, and he uses the comic art around it, and then it's followed by some comic pages, and it's just like, it's so I want to learn.
Comics are a visual medium. I can't believe
Yes.
that everyone's sending pictures around as freaking Word docs. Like these are comic books.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's
pretty.
no, I think you're on one, and it like stands out. And that I was gonna ask, like, what do you use? Are you like, is it Photoshop that you use, or like, what do you use to design?
Oh yeah, I've been pirating Photoshop since I was 10 years old. I mean, I pay for it now, but yeah. It's Photoshop and Illustrator. I try to do more stuff vectorized now, just because it ends up being used for logos and different stuff. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hate fucking honey whiskey. American honey. No, I used to be a bouncer.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, it's sometimes, but I was a bouncer, and one of my favorite bartenders, Julie, to work with, she loved it. And they would always sneak me a shot of it when I was like hammered. And I shouldn't talk shit, because I used to fucking suck down Rumplements like it was water, which a lot of other people think
We all were in our 20s once.
No, this was when I was in my 30s.
We all were in our 30s once.
But I mean, like, it used to be bad, man, because like we had to ring in. Everybody drank Rumplements at the men drank Rumplements at the bar, because it's like it's 100 proof, and it goes down easy. It's peppermint, and when you breathe on a customer, it's not like, it doesn't smell like vodka or whiskey. And so there was strategery behind our drunkenness, but every liquor inventory, they'd be like, we're a bottle and a half short of Rumplements. You guys are drunk pieces of shit. We're going to end up firing all of you. And so it turned into like, we were like, okay, we really have to like ring in our shots. And we got 33% off our alcohol order. But like, we had to really start ringing in our shots to avoid the liquor inventory troubles. And so my dude, there were some nights when I like cashed out at the end of the night and it was just like 11 shots of Rumplemints and a cheeseburger. And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And, but anyway, so I would drink like Rumplemints all night. And then at the end of the night, have like a vodka strawberry lemonade. Cause I'm hardcore. And we had like, we would make our own strawberry vodka for a house cocktail. And then like, you know, Julie would make shots and I wouldn't think about it. And then you take a shot of American whiskey honey and it, unless you're like really planning on it or strategize your drink orders around it, like it doesn't hit well. And it was like I think about it the same way I think of like Fireball. I'm not a big fan of Fireball either. So anyways, yeah,
Yeah, you don't like that.
no honey whiskey for me. I'm just a, you know what? I'm just a regular guy from Kansas City, Missouri, who likes to drink Maker's Mark now and then because it just brings me back home.
All right, look, so I got to give you my second piece of wisdom. After hearing about this single tweet reviews, I think this is a fucking brilliant idea. This is what the world of Twitter needs right now. You need to start doing these again. And you need to start encouraging people to give their own single tweet reviews of whatever you reviewed in the thread and get it shared.
Oh, like, what do you think? Like, and then like, yeah, get engagement. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like, yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's got time to write 100 characters about something if it's something they've read, right?
Yeah.
I think, you know, it makes sense for you to like craft a little thought in terms of like your own review would be, you know, obviously honest about it and then do all your tagging and everything in the thread. But like, I think if I saw that and it was something I read, I'd absolutely take a minute or two to throw something in there. I think you could get some serious engagement. I haven't seen anything like that in comics Twitter, and it
because I quit doing it.
Some shit like that.
Well, because you know what everything switched to? Everything switched to YouTube Shorts because that basically the one tweet review. I'm trying because that.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm an avid comics reader and consumer, and I'm not looking at those. I guess maybe.
Yeah, well, not everybody is. Yeah, but there's well, yeah, I'm one of the few people trying to do like under a 1 minute like YouTube review, and I have like the, you know, I pull up the green screen and have the background flash art and stuff because I'm like super fancy now. I got these new fucking like real production lights and shit, and like because I'm just fucking rolling in it now. I shouldn't say that, I'm gonna fucking jinx myself, but you know, that's kind of where it went though, for real. Like there was a time when we were all trying to like hype comics and talk about comics, because this is how I met a lot of the comic book community, was doing that, and people found me, and I met a lot of good, for like Fred, that guy who taught me how to podcast, is one of them. Like I met a lot of really great people just like being on Twitter talking about comics. And which led me to here now, like how much different are things? Like I'm talking into a $high microphone, talking into a new, I'm not in 4K because I'm not paying for it for StreamYard, but like I have a new 4K camera. I got these new lights. I know my fucking background sucks. Eat a dick. I'll fix it one day. Please don't eat a dick.
No.
Our audience,
you got the basement warehouse vibe. People like that.
But you know, like
be real.
It's just like all of this came from that, and it's crazy how it evolves, and it does, dude. It breaks my heart. I talked about this today. So like one of my clients, how this all started, when my PR gig started, I got hired as a publicist for Invader Comics. Our new unknown caller is on its last, it's probably like 12 hours now. It's coming up on its last 12 hours. I posted a really quick 1 minute video to post to like Reels, TikTok, and YouTube, saying like, hey, it's our last 24 hours. Like one more push, help us get, you know, like let's get a few more backers. It's your last chance for a special variant. And I didn't spend a ton of time on it, but I spent about, you know, recording, editing, adding the art, the transitions, cutting it down to a minute, and then posting it to all the socials. You're looking at about 45 minutes worth of time, right? Ish. Sure. And that was one of the fastest videos I've ever posted. And then this morning, I used a fucking template of a girl wrestler tackling a guy. This template was already made. All I did was put I probably shouldn't say this if my clients hear it, but all I did was put like an image of this comic behind the template. Like it's essentially like came with a green screen and you replace the background with a clever little saying, right? And I spent 2 minutes on this and I got 1,500 views on YouTube. And my
Dude, it absolutely doesn't matter how you're creating
they
this stuff
don't reward
because
effort.
well, not just that. I'm saying like you don't have to feel bad about saying, look, this took me less time than something else that took longer time, as long as if it gets results, because that's
No, yeah, I still did it. Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like you were the person that found that and took the time to make it and had the idea to do it. Like that's the point. It doesn't matter. Like there's too many people have a weird association with time duration and amount of effort or the ability to do something, right? Like you always see that stuff where someone's like, there's a master plumber and you're like, I have a fucking drain plug, right? And they get a shitty plumber in and this guy's like, that's gonna take me 4 hours, I'll charge you $400. And they get a master plumber in, he's like, it's take me 15 minutes, I'll charge you $300. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it takes him. He has the skill and the experience to do that.
That's true.
He's getting the shit done. It doesn't matter how the sausage is made as long as it's made.
Like my buddy who owns a shop who spent a bunch of money on a new diagnosing computer that you plug into the car, right? And he's like, you can like the car's being weird, you can plug this thing in and you can look at it and see like, oh, this fuel injector is not getting any voltage, it's bad, we need to replace it. And it takes him 5 minutes, right? And he still gets to charge him like whatever a diagnosing fee is, like $100 or whatever. Like, but yeah, no, I get it. It just, it makes me feel dirty. I don't like, obviously we're going into an hour and a half right now. You motherfuckers know I like to talk, right? I don't know how to shut up. I talk more than my guests sometimes. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry though, because I'm giving you fucking winning content. I'm giving you what you want, and I'm bringing you people making great comics. And I'm, like I'm telling you where to get the sauce for your pasta, guys. Like it doesn't matter where it doesn't matter where you buy it. I'm just telling you where to get the sauce, and you can get it anyway. I don't like how long form content isn't being rewarded anymore. It's a bummer because I do think like conversations like this, they're fun. We laugh. We still have viewers in the chat. We had the chat was going off and having a good conversation for a while. Like there's room for this, but right now YouTube is YouTube and TikTok are the big ones right now, and they're rewarding a minute or less content, and that was something that like I'm still struggling with, and it just just like it's now it's something that you have to deal with. And yes, it gets you a lot of views and followers on YouTube, but it's like, this is my content. This is the real shit.
But here's the real question, Blake. Here's the real question. Like in reality, in this day and age, and with all the shit we're doing, when was the last time you personally, other than a TV show or something that was like serialized and a professional content, when was the last time you watched something longer than 30 minutes long? You sat down and watched an hour and a half long interview.
An interview
or anything, like any kind of content, right? Like,
I mean, Ted Lasso.
So say take professional TV shows out of the mix. Like, people just don't consume content like they used to. That's why true. All of these social media engines are ahead of that. They have mines and mines of data around how people exist on the internet, what they do, how they jump between stuff, how they context shift. So that's why they're trying to shift value there, because that is honestly why I was pushing for saying, like, you, without a shadow of a doubt, you absolutely have to bring back one tweet reviews, or you can call it one sentence reviews, so I can go across networks or whatever, like, and use that as a platform to get people to put their own fucking reviews on there and get that into just that's the recipe for success there, my friend. Because who's got time for anything anymore? You're taking a shit, you can read Blake's fucking one sentence review.
That's why I have AI write all my stuff. That's a joke.
It's not a joke. No, Trust me, I have a lot of opinions on AI, especially as a software engineer. We can talk about that at a different time. But.
Yeah, I do too. And I see the art side and the stealing. I get that, but there's another side to it. And that's all, as now, like, especially now that the internet and the ghost in the machine knows that I'm a content creator and a social media manager. That's all my fucking ads say. Oddly enough, I get on Twitter, it's all bra ads, and I have man boobies. I'm a big guy, but I'm not a bra wearing person. All I do is get bra ads on Twitter, and then on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. It's all like pro AI. You cannot be a content creator or a social media professional and not use AI. And again, this isn't like a lawyer using AI to build a court case with. This is like
Right.
organizing social media posts, creating a social media plan. Like, yeah, it can do a lot, but yeah, that's a totally different.
Oh, trust me, as a software engineer, I've spent a lot of time and effort thinking and working on this stuff recently. And the problem in comics is that everyone is hung up on AI for
art. Yeah.
iterative image generation art, right? Like that's a whole category that has a lot of red tape related to copyright.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to open that can of worms
Yeah, no.
because everyone knows that it's stuff.
And we'll
for the
get in
most
trouble.
part, right?
People yell at us.
Yeah, I agree with the there needs to be regulation.
Yeah, totally.
But the concept of accessible, quick learning models of AI are going to be permeating every piece of software you use in your life in 2 years. Everything,
Yeah.
every single thing you use. Your cell phone is going to tell you, hey, we see that you're normally using these apps at this time of day. I'm going to surface them and suggest that you do these things you always do to make your life more optimized. You're going to start to set up your podcast, and it's going to say, hey, we see that usually you're going to get, X number of comments right away. So we're going to focus on your UI, the chat, so you can pay attention to these, and then we'll fade that away after 20 minutes. And we usually see people like focus less on this. Like everything is going to be so focused on not just large scale AI models to do stuff that makes sense for big problems, but minute details on your own individual devices related to your own life and your own habits.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel weird. It's going to make a lot of stuff feel really convenient, but it's the way things are going. Like this technology
it's
is
it's not
inevitable.
going away. Yeah.
Inevitable.
Well, real quick, K-pop says she doesn't even get bra ads. No, I don't understand. I don't hate them because they're all beautiful people, and I'm not like mad scrolling past it. But it's all the new suction cup bras. There's no straps. You like spray water on them and they just like stick to titties and hold them where. Anyways, that's all I get. On
I know exactly what happened here.
I'm just saying.
You got one bra ad accidentally one time, and then you lingered on it for like 45 seconds, and then all the underlying technology was like, he's interested. We're going to show him.
Like,
and then every time you see a bra ad, you're like, titties, I'm looking at them. And then that's all you're doing now.
But no, Adobe started using AI, and when I did my Planet Comic-Con interviews, I used oh fuck, I can't remember what it's called. It's like Adobe Correct or Adobe. It's something you
Firefly,
upload.
You talking about?
Huh?
You're talking about their Firefly AI stuff?
Not Fire. It's just for audio. Adobe Enhance. So Adobe Enhance, you can like upload your audio. If it's over an hour, you have to split it in half. But I was doing 10, 15-minute interviews at Planet Comic-Con. There was all this background noise. It was really hard to edit. And so I would upload the audio to Adobe Enhance, and it fixes it, and then you can download it, and it's free. You just have to make an Adobe account. They limit you, like if you try and do like 15 audio streams or something a day, they'll cut you off until the next day, but it refreshes the next day. But it was awesome. And it cut down the background noise and made the audio cleaner for these con interviews that I put on YouTube. And then and I was loving it. And then I found out later that it's using artificial intelligence to make correct sounding human speech in weird environments. And then I felt guilty because I was like, oh no, I'm part of the problem. And then I was just like, well, I've been part of the problem for a lot of other reasons anyway. But yeah, like you said, man, this shit's not going anywhere. And I just think if artists got compensated in one way or another, or if you willingly, when you upload something, if it asks you like, do you want to be put in this database? Yes or no. And if you say no, you can't be in the database. I think that's all it would be.
That's a very interesting topic because Adobe has what they call Firefly, which is their AI generative image solution that is built into Photoshop to do things like, hey, I have this image, I want to make it wider, generate some shit to go here that fits in, or give me just random stuff from a prompt, like Stable Diffusion and other AI things do. But Adobe trained their model of Firefly off of all of their own, or all of the images off of their Adobe stock, which is a massive database. And then all the people that had stuff on Adobe stock were like, breach of copyright. Like, I have all this stuff there. But it was blatantly stated in the terms of service when you sign up for Adobe stock that your image can be used programmatically by Adobe for any of this stuff. And I get that it's like everyone breezes over terms of service, doesn't read them and shit, but it was written. Like, at what point can you be like, guys, you got into bed with the company, you breezed through the terms of service, you knew what you were getting into, they used it legally for what they said they were gonna. I think that has a whole different category of argument than stuff like Stable Diffusion, where they're blatantly scraping shit off the internet and using it to train AI models to copy people. Like, AI is a tool. AI. It's a tool. It's
a tool, and it can be useful, and it could be developed in a way that could benefit a lot of people. It's already benefiting a lot of people. But the art deal, please don't cancel me or come at me. I love artists. I love comic book artists. I understand your problems with it. I support you. I don't want computers to write our comics. I want real people like Evan and other people to like work and make their comic, like, the creative endeavors and stuff. I want them to come from humanity. I don't want them to come from robots. I would like to say that I broke Canva has AI, and I fucking broke it. I don't know if you guys have been following, but Cole and, again, going back to Cole and I, because that's all life is now, is Cole and I, we did the weenioli thing, and everybody saw us talking about weeniolis, the hot dogs with the raviolis. I tried so fucking hard to get AI to draw me a happy old lady eating a weenioli, and I typed in, like, again, this is like the best choice, like, AI, what Canva's using, but I was trying to describe what a weenioli is, and this fucking computer, man, it could do a hot dog and it could do a ravioli. It could do them separately, but it could not put them together. And it was just so funny, like, trying to get this fucking computer to draw me a weenioli with an old lady. I don't know why it had to be an old lady. I just liked the image of, like, a real happy old lady eating a weenioli, like it was wholesome. And this was at the time when, like, everybody told Cole and I that we were gonna die if we, like, ate these because we were too old to be eating food like that. But anyway, like, the AI could not draw a weenioli, right? And I don't want to live in a world that weeniolies don't exist, because they were delicious. And if computers can't bring weeniolies to life, then that's your fucking problem, computer. And anyway,
they will. In a year from now, they'll be able to make a better weenioli than humanity can make. Well, here's another hot take for you.
Let's go. Drop it, baby.
As a software engineer, I obviously have a different understanding of a lot of this stuff than most people. But
yes, you're at a different platform than
the understanding of AI and how it works and how it affects things is very much weighted, especially in the comics community, by the specific scenarios of AI in generative art and theft, which I already talked about that, right? But there's 1,000 other applications of AI for the writing process, editing, review, composition, like a million things that AI can be used for smartly and well to make our lives better and easier. And it's the same issue I had. Remember when Kickstarter announced that they were going to move to use
oh my god,
blockchain technology?
Do I remember that?
Well, here's another fucking hot take for you related to that.
Guess who's still on Kickstarter? Everybody.
Everyone in the world, because of no fault of their own, but they think blockchain is cryptocurrency. Those are different things. Yeah, right? It's a blockchain is a very interesting, smart, connected technology to distribute, like, logic, processing, and trust to decentralize things, which would be better for everybody. The value and dream of blockchain is to make sure that there's no central entity that can just shit the bed or, like, have falsified data records. Like, it's about distributed trust and shared processing, and any company in the world can benefit from leveraging blockchain for various different things. But everyone thought blockchain meant crypto. Yeah. And that just, like, backlash. Like, everyone, rightfully, like every new technological trend, people hear the bad stuff because media blows out of proportion because it's interesting media reading for attention. But all this stuff, I mean, blockchain, AI is the wave of the future. 10 years from now, blockchain and AI will be prevalent in every fucking thing we do on the internet. And all the concerns will hopefully have been controlled and regulated and understood. including like the economic impact of shitty cryptocurrency that was mined with a negative, ecological footprint, and stuff like generative AI art theft. But people need to understand that all these technologies are just that. They're technologies and tools, and they're more than just what media is blowing them out to be at the time.
No, I agree. And I'll probably, in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, I'll probably end up with fucking Apple goggles with an AI girlfriend, and I'm fine with that. I'm not even
Yeah.
mad about
I
it.
mean,
Like,
that's the future we all knew was happening for a lot of us anyway. Let's be real.
but yeah, it's yeah, I know things get blown out of proportion, and I understand. I also understand concerns. I also understand that we
Mhm.
were raised as a society to like fear this technology because of cinema
Terminator.
and media and
Yeah.
and Terminator. Like nobody wants fucking Skynet. I mean,
The
no one.
singularity is coming, baby.
But yeah, it's it regardless of what any of us want, and no matter what happens, change is always coming, right? Change is always coming. Change is inevitable. That discomfort we have to learn to deal with. And I do think things will get better. I do want artist friends and comic book artists to feel safe. I want people to
Sure.
I don't want people to get writers too. I don't want people to quit posting on social media thinking like some computer is going to steal their voice or steal their style and market off of it and make money for some big corporation. I don't want that to happen. And that's the vibe that we're getting now, right? Because of this art,
Yeah.
because of this kind of art scandal. But I do think it is if it wasn't stealing art and these artists weren't mad about it, like there's a whole lot. I've even seen artists critique AI and then come back and be like, I wish it was more moral because I would love to use this for thumbnails. I would love to use this to
Oh
talk,
yeah, composition
through a-
ideation. Yeah.
talk through a page layout and test something before I actually spend hours and hours drawing it and then realize afterwards like, oh shit, that didn't work and I have to read. I'm not saying that, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen comic book artists say this that are against the technology
No,
and
no,
see the
you're right.
goodness of it. So there are good things that could come out of it. But yeah, and like anyways, we have spiraled. We have so spiraled and we're at 140 minutes. And I want to
Spiraled.
remind people why we're here. Technically, why we're here is to get signed up for talks 3 and 4. And there's a link. There's links in the comments. But if anyone's still here, I'm going to go ahead and post it again. Get signed up for this campaign because Evan, all these things we've been talking about leading up to the world's end. Evan knows how it's going to end. He knows how it's going to extend, and he's figured it out. And he's got a great comic that he's working with Eric Palicki on, and they're doing a great job together. And I really want to remind people that like it's a great book, and I really want people to follow Evan. You need to follow Wolven Press because yes, this is coming out from Blood Moon Comics in the direct market. You'll be able to get it in shops, but Evan is doing a lot of cool stuff other than that. And if you follow him on social media, he does some great sneak peeks. He's got an awesome Instagram. Like if you look at fucking Evan's Instagram, it's just gorgeous fucking art of all this crazy stuff he's working on.
It's the
Hey,
dream.
thanks, Ronan. I'm glad we talk about the comic a little bit and then we talk about everything else. I still think, and I know maybe not everybody agrees with it, but I still think that people want to come on my show. Like very rarely do I have to beg anymore for people to come on my show. And I think that this is why people like to deal with my bullshit and people like to let loose and as opposed to like if Evan came on here and I had 12 specific questions about comics to ask him and it was real fucking dry and boring and we didn't laugh and we didn't bounce off what the chat was talking about and we didn't bounce off what him and I were vibing about and where the conversation went, it's not going to be as fun of a talk. And that's what I love about doing what I do is I like to talk about comics, but I like to talk about life. I like to talk about pertinent shit. But again, I do want to remind people that Evan did come on to promote comics and he's got a lot of great stuff. You
I
need to
did?
follow him on social media. I don't know. He came on for
I
some.
thought we came on here to drink whiskey. I didn't know there was promotion involved.
Well, but do you have a newsletter or anything yet? Have you started any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I have one, but it's kind of a hybrid between my tabletop gaming stuff and the comics. I haven't really done a good job of splitting those into two yet. Social media, just follow me there. I post a bunch of shit.
Yeah,
That's about that's
you
about
do.
the pitch I
You,
got.
you need to follow 'em.
I have more books in the works and finished and ready to publish than I have even completed this point. I think I have 6 books done, completed, and just waiting for me to find time to kickstart them. So
That
there's
is
lots of stuff coming up.
fucking, dude. That's so insane. Like seriously, dude. I don't think you know what level you're at, man. Like I don't think you
Making
see it
comics, bro.
from your perspective, dude. Because I I don't know if you knew, I talk to a lot of creatives a lot, and a lot of them are like upper tier creatives, and you are doing shit that like you're doing shit that like Tom King and Mitch and like these big two guys that like have to give these contracts their all and basically give them everything they have, and they have like 6 or 7 comics going at a time. That's how you survive in the direct market in the big two. Like that's how you make big money. That's basically the only way to make big money in
For
comics.
sure.
And
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably like, fuck you, Blake, because I'm not making big money, but that's what you're doing, man. But you're doing it on the indie side, and you have all these projects, and you're just waiting. You're just like waiting to let them loose on Kickstarter or whatever crowdfunding endeavor, man. And it's I really hope that like you pick up the seriousness in my voice right now. It's so impressive what you're doing. And again, you wouldn't be able to do this if you weren't so passionate about indie comics. Like if you didn't have that fire in your gut, you wouldn't be hustling so hard.
For sure.
And if you didn't have that fire in your gut, your narratives wouldn't sing so beautifully. And you're making very, very, very cool books. And I
Here's the
just
bummer of
want you to keep
comics,
doing it.
Blake.
Huh?
The bummer of comics is that we have to sell them to keep making more. I
Yeah,
hate selling
right.
comics. I love creating comics. I love that I can do that. And I'm lucky that I have this kind of business entity where I can finance them from my other tabletop gaming stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I hate that I have to sell them and have to like try to prove the validity of them by how well they succeed or doing the direct market. I just want to make more comics, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing. And I'll find a time to get them in the market and hopefully recoup some of the expenses on that so I can keep doing it. But it's just all about the creation of them for me and the joy of like putting those stories from my head out in the universe and making them as beautiful as I can and just hoping people enjoy them.
What worries you? Like what I'm not talking about like your baby boy or your family life
Sure.
or stuff, but like what when you bounce around from project to project, um excuse me, and you invest in yourself like you do, like what's a what's a worry of yours
Yeah,
that maybe combats against your need to create,
sure.
that you have to deal with and battle with.
I mean, I have a really good sense of how comics works and how you make money at this point. I'm an indie dude. Like, I'm not going to be. I don't have any aspirations or dreams to ever like write full time for the big tour or do anything like that. I just want to make my own stories, and it, it's but portion of that is crowdfunding, right? A portion of that is trying to get stuff in the direct market, which makes a lot less sales than it used to. Another big portion of that is ongoing long tail sales online, digital sales, and then con sales where you're selling like physical copies of inventory that you finance as part of a Kickstarter. So that is all the whole picture of how the hell you make money from a book, right? Like
Okay.
you see some that was example you brought up earlier was that my mixology noir book didn't do the numbers that I think it should have on Kickstarter based on the quality. But I kind of knew that going into it. I didn't have a horror audience pre-built. It was a
Oh,
tough time on Kickstarter, but I built that book or made that book because I wanted to be able to sell it in my local, fancy bar that I thought it would look great sitting in their granite bar top. And I knew that for years that book would sell at cons well, right? So I knew that the initial
does it?
investment to
Do
get that
people
made.
pick it up off the table?
I haven't conned since I created that one, but I have one coming up pretty soon. I feel strongly that it will, but
All
that's
right.
to be determined.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Go back.
Oh, you're good. So and I've already made the next 2 of those. Like they're done. Mixology
Yeah.
Noir 3 and 4 are
Yeah.
done.
Again, he
And
sneaked some art and it's gorgeous.
But maybe I'm a lunatic. Maybe I'll never figure this out, and I'm spending all this, thousands and thousands of dollars on building all these books. And maybe that's okay, right? As long as my family's still got a roof over their head and I feel
Yeah.
fulfilled and happy doing it, maybe that's all right. Or maybe, my stuff will catch on more. I'll get more publishing deals, or Kickstarter will continue to snowball, and maybe it'll turn into something more. But either way, I'm okay knowing that I'm enjoying the process of doing it. And it's more than a job. It's a passion and an amazing creative outlet for me. And I can't stop thinking about it. And I feel like if nothing else, even if I'm not successful in a business, um, avenue in comics long term, I'm having a absolute fucking blast doing it, and I will continue to do it as long as I can make it make sense. And that, I guess, my fear is just eventually maybe I'll look at the investiture into it and be like, fuck, it just doesn't make same sense to continue doing this if I haven't figured out how to get the audience to a point
Yeah.
where the sales make sense or bigger publishing deals. But I have faith in myself. I feel pretty good about it.
I did too. I have a lot of faith in you, and I, just because of what I have going on right now, I see a lot of ourselves. Oh my god, I almost said I see a lot of ourselves in each
A lot of
other, and
ourselves.
that came out weird.
That's
Um,
meta.
K-pop K-pop said this in the previous Invader live stream. She likes weird and creepy shit, and that's
Invaders good at that. What's the other horror publisher that does a ton of fucking Kickstarters that's really good? It's gonna bother me if I don't think of it. They have done like 20 of them.
it's like it's something 7, right?
No,
They just did. Oh fuck.
they just had one.
Oh, is it the guy who
Uh,
does who does a lot of Lovecraftian stuff?
no, this is really bothering me. I should know this off the top of my head.
Well, that's the problem with live streaming. We should all know way more stuff off the top of our head. But while you're looking that up, that's one of the things that, like, people, I just realized that it's June, right? It's moving fast. It's a week into June, and I've been freelancing for a month, and it's crazy to think that like I've been I've been doing this for a month, and like things. I hope things are going well. Evan may fire me as soon as we go off air. I don't know what's going to happen, but like it's been a learning experience, and I'm getting to learn so much more about comics, and I'm getting to work with creators, and I'm able to pay my bills on doing something I love. And I never ever thought that would be a thing. And that's what I really admire and respect and connect with Evan with, is because he's just doing his own thing, and he cares, right? But he cares and he doesn't care simultaneously, because he's like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm gonna, you got to keep doing it. You can't stop, basically.
Right.
And speaking of can't stop, buy a bottle of Maker's Mark, because once you pop, the fun don't stop. Wait, that's Pringles, but it actually works for alcohol too. Please sponsor me, Maker's Mark. We would really love that. But no, honestly, man, like, jokes aside, like, it's so cool, like, what you're doing. And some of my
Appreciate that.
friends and people that I've talked to you about, because I talk you up behind the scenes, dude, because you got me fucking stoked, man. You show me these covers, you show me these little art snippets, and you're doing some really great stuff. And you're lucky to be in a position, like we talked about earlier, where yeah, like, you can afford to, god damn it, focus, you can afford to pay for art. You not only pay for art, be picky about art. And that's another thing I love about you, is
You're right. Yeah.
you're fucking picky as fuck about art, and it pays off immensely. But you get to do all these things at your own pace, at your own comfort level, and then take them into production when you feel like it. Which is really impressive. I think a lot of other comic book professionals would be wildly jealous of you, just because not everybody not everybody gets to do that. Yes, Scout has good titles. I wish they sent their review copies out more normally, but that's just me talking.
I found the publisher I was thinking about. It's Afterlight Comics.
Yes,
I love Afterlight. They have so much good shit. They have like a new
yes.
Kickstarter every like freaking 2 weeks, and their books are always really good horror books.
I'm mostly I talk about modern stuff. Old Universal monster stuff. I'm not. I mean, I know what they are, but I'm not super familiar. Yeah. So yeah, K-pop. Also, K-pop. Thanks for just like popping the chat on. Hold on, I'm just fucking clicking shit all over the place. Thank you for like hanging out for 2 hours and like talking to us like. And our other viewers, thanks for tuning in. The chat was popping for a while, but yeah, man, dude, I don't know, dude. Whatever your secret sauce is, like, keep fucking pouring that over your pasta. I don't care if it's fucking bow tie. I don't care if it's angel hair. I don't care if it's fettuccine, man. Like, just keep pouring that sauce over the pasta and keep eating it. And not only that, keep drinking whiskey, preferably Maker's Mark. But I just, Evan, I just, I'm really glad we got to meet. I'm glad we started a business adventure too, but like, I'm just glad that like I stumbled across your comics because reading your comics has made me a happy nerd. And when when you show me stuff and I get to see it, it gets me excited about the medium. It gets me excited about what one person can accomplish when they have a goal and a dream. I think that scares a lot of people. It still scares me. Right? Like
It's tough.
when
You're right.
right when shit starts to happen, right? When you really like having a dream is easy, right? Having a dream and chasing it is hard. Getting close to catching that dream when you're chasing it is when it starts to get scary. And then when shit starts to happen, it gets fucking terrifying, right? What happens if I let go? What happens if I trip and lose sight of it? What happens if this or that or that? We are humans and we are fallible and we're weirdos and we get inside of our own heads and we get in our own ways so many times. And what I know about you and the way you present yourself, you seem to be really good about not getting in your own way. And that you're laughing, but I'm just saying, like, you're obviously like, you're not in my head, but what you're putting out, what you're producing, what you're making happen, it really seems like you're not getting in your own way. And it's
That's
really
all optics,
impressive.
dude. You don't see all the shitty ideas I get married to and have to eventually throw away when I realize they're shit after like trying to churn on them for a long time. Like I see. I've always been big on like branding, right? Like a lot of creators, like you've sure you've seen this. Like most comic creators are themselves on Instagram, right? Like whatever their name or Twitter, whatever they have their name, and then maybe they'll have like an imprint they'll use to release their stuff. But they do most of their marketing as themselves, and there's value in that. Obviously, like everyone loves forming social relationships when you're talking to a person, but I'm really, for whatever reason, big on branding because I want to be ready when that time comes to be like,
Yeah.
this is a brand. Like I'm a publisher, whatever that means, and that I think has been challenging in terms of like making connections as a brand versus as an individual. That's a whole separate conversation. But I think part of that is optics, right? Like I'm only sharing the finished work and the cool stuff that has gotten to the point where I feel like it's polished. And that's something we talked about before, but every indie comic has merit, of course. But I've always thought like if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it 200%. Like if I'm going to make a comic, it's going to have art that would hold up, stand next to anything you'd pay money for at a comic shop. It's going to have, a story that I feel like has a lot of merit. It's going to be good, like really good, at least my own, like, by my own measurement. So that's kind of what I'm going for with Wolven Press and with everything is just like take everything you have, put it into it as absolutely best you can, and try to push every dial all the way forward. Within the realm of what's feasibly affordable and doable. Without being a 20-year industry professional. And I'm hoping that over the next year or two, when a lot more stuff comes out, that's obvious and recognizable by publishers and customers.
Well, I hope I'm around to see it. Not like I'm gonna die next week. That was weird to say. That was weird to say. I'm excited to be around to see it. I hope
I know where you're headed. Yeah.
I also hope I'm around. I hope the odds aren't against me. I got two. Actually, wait. I guess I got three. I got three more questions. I got two questions for the audience. K-pop says we're on while she's working. I'm pretty sure she lives in the States. If I'm wrong, apologies. But like, I used to work nights too at a bar. So like, what are you doing right now? Not like creepy wise, but like, what is your job right now that this late that you're listening to us? Two question, what flavored bourbon, and give us a brand and flavor that maybe we should check out. And last question, I've been wanting to ask you this forever and I always forget. Where did the Wolven come from? What is the Wolven in Wolven Press?
I mean, Wolven is a word that obviously means wolf-like. In that I've just always thought was a really fucking cool word ever since I was a young kid. Back when I'd have to like ideate character names for like tabletop gaming and MMORPGs and stuff, I always thought it was just a cool fucking word that was underutilized. And wolves are beautiful animals with focus and intent, and I just wanted to use a fucking wolf, and
They're
it's that
just
simple.
little puppy dogs. They just want belly rubs and scritches. Sorry, no, but they do. I feel like they do. But is it so? Nothing about like the two wolves inside you, or like not prescribing to that.
No, I could make up some bullshit that would sound good, but it wouldn't be
beast
true. Yeah.
that knows how to get shit done, basically, right? Kind of maybe.
Just to fucking, I always love the idea of like wolves with their blue eyes like staring into your soul. And I just thought a wolf looked good in a logo, would make good trade dress. There's no biblical answer here. I just thought it was fucking cool. I thought it would work well and liked it.
I didn't want a biblical answer, man. I was raised
The
Catholic.
biblical we.
I
Yeah.
was raised Catholic. I got enough of that shit. Well, no, that's still. It was just curious. I'm with you. I think wolves are so admirable. I hate, dude. Talk about getting me in my feels when I see the tweets about how few red wolves are left in the world, and how people are trying to save them. It just, oh my god, it gets me right in the feels and wrenches me. I didn't know if you I didn't know if you had something like, and there's that deal that like, and there's two wolves inside you,
Oh yeah, feed. You can choose to feed one.
and
Yeah.
when you're bent over it hurts real bad. I don't know, that's maybe that's not the quote. I'm sorry, but no, I like Wolven Press. I think it looks cool. I think your logo looks cool. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I think your comic books look real fucking cool. I hope
Yeah.
I got that point across during this 2-hour clusterfuck that I've led you on, Evan. I hope that people listening really do know that like I have the utmost respect for you and the stories you're trying to tell, and I want you to succeed for the selfish reason of you give me a paycheck. I'm just kidding. Want you to succeed for the
Hey,
selfish reason of
I'll
I love
never
your
let you
comics.
forget, Blake. Before you had anybody that wanted to hire you for all your PR stuff, I was the first person that tried to
You
hire
were.
you.
He used to he would like pop into conversations and he would be like, Blake, quit taking jobs. And he quit hiring Blake. He would like remind me and it's crazy. But no,
That's all good and fun. I know freelancers you got to balance all that shit
we
and
got
have a full work life. Like,
we got to
tough.
hustle and we got to flow. But honestly, like, and I said this before and I'll say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 times more, dude. I like your comic books a whole hell of a lot. And if this is like, I know you had some stuff come out before talks and you've shown me some of it, and I like that too. And I've got to see a little bit of what's coming out after talks. And if I just if I get to be a part of that, I almost want to be like #blessed, but like if I get to be a part of that, like I'm excited. I really do think, man, like I I do, this is my life. This comic books are my life. Like
For sure.
I wake up in the morning, I make fucking promo ads. I fucking try and schedule podcast episodes. I beg fucking people to write reviews, but everybody's too goddamn busy. That's fine. Be busy.
Well, if they could only write one sentence reviews, maybe they do.
That's true. Maybe then. But for real, like, man, like this is all I do every day, man. And your product, your product that I've gotten to experience really does sticks out. And I really want people to know that in this stream, like, I'm not being paid to say this. Like, I just believe this. These comics are fucking good, right? And we've gotten other people to review talks, and it's everybody reviewed it well. Everybody loves it. Everybody's excited about it. Everybody says they want more of it. Like, it's a universal accumulation of praise. Holy shit, what a phrase. Write that down for your pull quote for the trade. Anyways,
Universal accumulation of trade, is that, or
of
praise?
praise. But it, everybody loves it, man. And Evan's writing cool shit, and he just kind of gets it. He gets it. Maybe he doesn't like writing. That's fine. But he loves comic books. And he loves art.
A lot, all the whole process, and writing just takes too much time and distraction. It's a necessary evil.
Oh my God. K-pop, I'm so glad that you have joined my stream of clusterfuckity. Like, I'm so glad. Yes, show me the whiskey. Was that your Jerry Maguire moment? I have several Jerry Maguire moments throughout the episodes. The whiskey was wet. The whiskey was inviting, and the whiskey was there. Oh, that's a t-shirt right there. So a t-shirt or something. But no, man. I know I've kept you 2 hours. And I know you probably have to get up early, or your kid's gonna cry in like another couple hours, and you're gonna have to take care of him. I heard that's what happens when you have tiny human beings. But dude, for real, like,
there's some of that, but not all of it. Don't worry.
I just love your comic books, and I hope one day I get to play one of your games, because I feel like, as much as I love your comics, well, I'm gonna love your comics forever, but I feel like with that vibe, like going into one of your rich storytelling narratives of a tabletop RPG, I'd really like to dive in there one day. I just think you get it. I think you get it, man. I think you understand what's going on in this industry, and I think you understand what's going on in your own endeavors and your own goals, and you've figured out how to cross blend them, and it's kind of a beautiful deal, and I can relate to you on that, because I'm stumbling into that same thing. Whereas I'm in the comic book industry now, and I'm so lucky and appreciative that I'm able to, I'm making a living here now too, and I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere, and I don't want to go anywhere, and I also don't want to stay the same, and I want to make it better. I feel like you're the same way. You're like, I'm here, and we could keep doing things the same way, or we could try and make them better. Right. And I feel like you're trying to make them better.
Yeah. I'm not asking for anyone's permission to write the stories I want to do. I'm just going to fucking do it anything regardless. They're going to buy them and they're going to succeed, or I'm going to find a way to keep doing it. I guess that's about where I'm at.
And he's also going to do every live stream outside. I love this about this motherfucker. He's always out. This is his like back deck. It's your back deck, right? You're sitting on your back
patio. It's a 3-season porch and it's summer, so I'm technically inside.
God, that sounds, you sound so rich. This is my 3-season.
I built it myself.
This is my second home at my 3-season porch. So, I'm just kidding.
It's easy to have stuff like this when you work construction when you're younger, and you can just build it yourself. That's
crazy.
Construction projects are a third of the price when you do the
when you do it. Yeah, when you make things happen. No, that's it. I wish. Yeah. I don't know how to do anything good. I don't know. Like, I can make an okay video. I can write an okay review, and depending on who watches it, I can do an okay interview. But I'm never a let's build a back patio that all our friends can sit on safely kind of guy, right? Like,
see, this is what I told you earlier. I have too many hobbies. I mean, I love woodworking and construction. Like, it's one of the many things that I have too many hobbies is the problem. And my brain does not let me half-ass anything. So if I get anything, I have to just like do it really good. And then that takes like months of my life to learn how to do it. And then I have the skill, but then I have too many fucking things going on at a time.
Yeah, things happen. Again, because I think K-pop's the only ones here. We're just gonna keep talking to you. I can't drink all this. I'm about done. This is the biggest bottle of Maker's Mark. But also shout out to Maker's Mark, who just makes a live stream feel like home. Please sponsor me. That would be really great because I hate paying for booze.
To your Maker's Mark sponsorship, I was in Alaska a couple 3-4 years ago visiting my cousin who's up there, worked in the tourism industry, and we went out hiked up to the mouth of a glacier, and I brought a bottle of Maker's Mark and did a similar thing where I took photo shoots of me like drinking Maker's in the mouth of this glacier, like trying to get all these cool fucking photos. I'm like, they're gonna like post this shit on their Twitter. This is gonna be like a awesome marketing
They
thing.
didn't do anything.
Oh, when I got back, the photos were all shit, like just covered in glacier water on the camera.
Oh no.
It's fine. It's totally fine because I had the experiences in my brain forever. But I just want you to know you're not alone in shilling yourself for the hope of Maker's Mark noticing you. I've done it before in my life.
I just think it would be pretty. Holy shit! What is K-pop? We need to hang out and party. I once won a Maker's Mark contest and got ice ball makers and bottle. I don't ever get anything. No, I've gotten a lot. I'm very lucky in my endeavors. But no, Evan, I do know that you've got probably shit to do in the morning, and I know you've got a tiny human asleep.
Yeah.
You've hopefully got a wife asleep. Hopefully she's getting some sleep too.
Oh, she's probably just waiting for me to get done so we can have another whiskey, but you never know.
You bring her on the stream. Let's go late night. Bring her over.
She's
here.
on the other side of the house.
Okay.
I'm not going all the way over there yet.
Well, hey man, like wrapping up, I've talked so much. What would you like? And people will watch this later. Like, what would you like people to know about you? Just something like if you know, like if like life got to write your Tinder profile in the best way, what do you want people to know about you?
I mean, if I'm going to keep it comics focused, anything that I got in the works or coming out is going to be, I can promise you one thing, is going to be of the absolute highest quality that I can make happen in between the storytelling, the art, the design, the lettering, the composition, the paper stock. Everything is going to be as good as I can push it to be. And I think that will be evident. And if you look at any of my previous books, so keep an eye out for all the shit we're doing. And Blake, I really do appreciate it when you say that you really like what I'm up to, because I know you as much, if not more than anybody else in the comic sphere, is seeing and reading hundreds and hundreds of comics, including the stuff, that's selling the most in the direct market all the way from whatever's available in the indie market. So I do appreciate the compliment and the stamp of quality approval, because it does mean a lot.
Well, hey, no problem. And yes, I'm better than everybody else, and I read more comics than everybody. I read a lot of comics, but yeah, he's right. Real quick though. All right, shots. I got about this much left. Boom, that happened. Oh, wow, fuck. Okay, let's do that. Let's party. Okay. We're wrapping up. Evan, where do we follow you? Where do we keep track of you? Where's the best place to know what Wolven Press is doing next? Let us know.
Yeah, I got a website, Wolven, WOLVEN.press, which has a link to my shop, a bunch of previews of a bunch of shit coming up, links to my newsletter, my social medias. Social media is Wolven_press on Instagram and Twitter. And then I just realized it's Wolven with no underscore press on Facebook. But just go to Wolven.press online and you can find access to everything.
Please follow him. Like, for real, ladies and gentlemen, he's doing some cool stuff. Hey man, this was a really fun time. If you ever get bored and you just want to chat one night, like, I'm so down. I love your techie proficiency. I love your quick to be technological hot takes. You're a wildly intelligent person. You're a wildly creative person. And I'll die on this hill. Comic books deserves to have you. Actually, you know what? They don't deserve to have you. You're better. You're better than that. You're better than it.
Up my ass.
You're better than it. I'm going to blow you up like a goddamn water balloon. I'm going to throw you at a 5-year-old and watch you explode in a splash of awesomeness. Holy shit, that just happened. You can take that as a pull quote if you want. Evan, dude, for real, man. You impressed the shit out of me. I love your stories. I love your comics. I hope nothing ever stops you from telling stories, because this is what I mean, you were obviously born to procreate and get married and stuff too, but like this is obviously what you were born to do. Tie it into tabletop gaming, man. Like I'm kind of excited for that, man. Like one day when the campaign goes live and there's a hardcover game rule edition with a 12 issue maxi series included and some miniatures and all sorts of crazy shit I'm sure you could design that I'm sure you're thinking about it in your head. I'm just nerds are lucky, and please people follow him, like for real. Like he's doing really awesome stuff, and you guys know me, and I'm drunk right now too, so like I could keep talking and I'm gonna cut myself off. Evan, if there's no anything else you want to say, or I'm gonna play the music.
Lots of shit coming out. I'll be back on Blake's. Catch me next time, and we'll share it. That's all I gotta say.
He's definitely coming back on Blake's Buzz because this was a fucking really fun conversation. And I'm so glad Eric wasn't here. No, I'm just
I'm gonna be deeply upset with you, Blake, if you don't bring back one sentence reviews very fucking quick, because that is what the world needs.
I'm gonna think about it, man. It won't be. Yeah, I want to do it. I want to. You know what? It actually
Why
makes.
not? It's so little work.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of work, but also less.
It
work.
is, but you're doing it all anyway. You're making the whole fucking 1 minute YouTube video.
I know.
Just throw that into one sentence. Share it.
One sentence done. I gotta do it. Just keep.
You do it. I'm gonna steal your idea and make it cool. So you better do it before me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, K-pop. Hey, thank you so much for hanging out with us so late, whatever you're doing for work and putting up with our shit. Evan, thank you for putting up with my shit. This was so great. Maker's Mark, thank you so much for not sponsoring this episode, but if you did sponsor it, I would thank you for it at this time. Just letting you know, love more, hate less, read comics. We live by it. We die by it. We breathe it. It really does mean something. And the guests that I have on this show believe it too. If Evan couldn't do it, he'd suffocate. I just feel like this guy, he's got stories to tell. And if he couldn't tell them, he'd be in a weird fucking place and his wife would be mad. And a happy wife is a happy life. So you got to make the comics to keep everything happy. But for real, everybody, thank you. Everybody who's in the chat and commenting, I so appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And everybody who's given me an opportunity to talk into this microphone and people listen to me. Like I for real do appreciate it. And Evan, I'm excited to read more of your comics, baby.
I'll send you some more tonight. I got at least one more I can send you.
It sounds like two more. Like a little talks 3 and 4 action needs to be coming to Blake's Buzzway. If there's something else on top of that, well then let's fucking party. We'll be back tomorrow. I've got Jessica Mason Judd on tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's fucking slaughtering Kickstarter. I don't even know why she wants to talk to me. She's fucking double funded and ready to go. And then Friday, Marvel's new Daredevil writer, Solid Ahmed, will be on the show. And that's insane.
Oh, yeah. What was that last Kickstarter he did? I backed. It was the one with the Dracula one. What was it called? Dragon, yeah, that was a cool book. I got that one physical. I like that one.
The Vlad Impaler hardcover with a very gorgeous dust jacket. We're going to be talking about that too. He wants to talk about his indie comics, but like, fuck that if I'm not going to ask him about Marvel shit. But no, he's got great indie stuff. We're going to talk about it. I got a great week of content. We're going to make it happen. And we're starting today with Evan. Follow him. Fucking follow Talks 3 and 4. It's a campaign you need. If you missed the previous ones, you can get all 4 issues. If you did the last campaign, you get the 2 new issues. Don't wait for Blood Moon to put it out. Don't wait for Eric Palicki to do something. Fuck Eric. I'm just kidding. Eric's going to come back on the show later. I love Eric. He's great. I don't know where I was going with this, Evan. You
better get Eric on to talk about Black Myth pretty soon, because that's a fucking awesome series.
Dude, you know what's funny? The press company I'm signed up for, they just messaged me. They're like, "Do you want to interview Eric for this deal?" And I messaged it. I replied. I was like, "If Eric wants to put up with my shit again, he's welcome to come on," because he was on here not long ago. So yeah, Eric's got to put up with my shit. He'll be back on later. Follow Evan. Follow the campaign. Follow me. Follow K-pop. She's fucking awesome. Like, you want her in your live streams. Can I just thank you, Evan? Can I just say, like, thank you for, like, bringing me into your madness, coming onto my show, and, like, just being real
I'm here
fucking,
for
like,
it.
just being real techie and cool and, like, knowing all sorts of shit. Dude, I'm not fucking lying, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know me. You guys know me. I'm a bad liar. I'm a good drunk. Oh my God. That's
a good combo.
That's the next Blake's Buzz t-shirt. I'm a bad liar and a good drunk. Buy this fucking comic. Sign up for his fucking comic. Talks is fucking awesome. It'll thank
That
you.
would be my one sentence review of Blake's Buzz.
That's
Bad liar, good drunk.
that's what I need to shoot for. Okay. All right. Now I know. Now I know the level that I
Bad
need to get.
bad liar, good drunk, good comics.
That's like a new blog slogan. That's the new love more, hate less, read comics. We can't replace that. I sold too many t-shirts. All right, Evan, unless you say something,
Yeah.
I'm going to play the music and I'm going to end the show.
Let's do it.
Follow this motherfucker and buy his comics because he's making some fucking killer shit. Follow me because I'm also making some killer shit. I'm here to win it. I'm here to read comics. I lost it. Man, I fucked it up. I fucked it up, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll all, oh, where's my mouse at? Oh my God. It froze. All right. Jesus Christ. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back later.
Time.
Even if you don't want us to be back later, we're going to be back. Follow him, get it done, and we are out of here. We love you. Intro.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Sorry, dude. We went long and I got drunk and I apologize.